604 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you, JP producing, starting off your Friday morning at 63 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. All over the map this morning, y'all. We got a lot going on. There's a lot of ground to cover. We are going to talk about safety on LSU's campus for game day. We're going to talk about the special session that's been called. We're going to talk about the Delmont Economic Development District. We got a lot of ground. We got a lot to get to. So, and we're going to squeeze a Foodie Friday in there somewhere too. Let's get to it. Top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Hurricane season doesn't seem to go away just yet. Technically, it runs through November 30th, but Lorenzo, post-tropical, and now completely moved off the map. There are two potential disturbances out there right now. Neither one looks like they'll be a threat to us. There's one that has a 30% chance of becoming a named storm over the next 7 days. That is going to be in the Caribbean. There is another that's in the North Atlantic and will likely stay there. It's only got a 10% chance of becoming a named storm over the next 7 days.
Number 4.
Sylvester Bulleney was arrested for principal to second-degree murder after 29-year-old Marvin Tolliver, a barber at Fade District Barbershop, was killed in a shooting. Bulleney got into an argument with a staff member. BRPD officials said he returned with two other men who confronted a shop employee before the fight ensued. The two others shot and killed Tolliver, who was not even involved in the fight.
Number 3.
Governor Jeff Landry is calling state lawmakers back to Baton Rouge for a special session to deal with next year's elections. The day after the Supreme Court heard arguments on what map Louisiana might use for future U.S. House races, Landry summoned the House and Senate for a special session beginning on October 23rd. There's a number of different qualifications for different election-related topics that are in the call.
Number 2.
3 people, including Sheriff Leland Falcon, were shot in Assumption Parish on Thursday afternoon. The Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office said Sheriff Falcon, responding to a shooting on Bayou Drive in Pierre Part because he was the closest person to the two homes when the call went out. Another deputy followed shortly behind him. Sheriff Falcon, like I said, was shot but is fine. In fact, he remained on scene for some time after the shooting.
Number 1.
One man was shot in the midsection on North Street near North 36th Street on Thursday evening, according to BRPD. Taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Details beyond that are scarce. Meanwhile, one person is dead, another person is injured after a shooting at the Ridgewood Apartments in Maringouin. Iberville Parish Sheriff Brett Stassi said deputies were responding around 6:12 p.m. They confirmed that one person was hurt and the other was killed.
Well, former National Security Advisor John Bolton was indicted by a grand jury Thursday on charges that he allegedly unlawfully transmitted and retained classified documents.
I mean, is the president even trying to hide that he's going after retribution from his enemies? And do you have a problem? Here's the follow-up part of it. Do you have a problem with it?
Personally? Or just in
on Facebook
Yeah.
Live. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, which we are live there every single day, courtesy of the folks at Lake Urgent Care. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, do you have a problem with it? I mean, clearly this is what he's doing, right? Or do you believe that turnabout's fair play? Because I guarantee you, everyone who doesn't have a problem with it is going to first off say, "Well, they did it to him." So, I don't have a take. Just want yours.
Yeah. But no, he is indicted for 18 counts, and of course he denies all wrongdoings.
Sure he does.
So, we'll see how that unfolds, huh? Well, Brian, in the music news, as far as the music industry, lost another one. Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley passed away yesterday at the age of 74.
Yeah.
Man.
It's weird to say someone from Kiss is in their 70s, right?
I know.
But I mean, this is where we're at now.
Been around a long time. Wow.
So,
yeah, sad. Apparently, he suffered a fall, and suffered a brain bleed from a fall.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what was confirmed by his family. So, yeah.
I wonder why he fell.
No.
Giant boots.
Too soon. Hey, look, I'm not going to make light of this, but you ever saw the interview with him thinking he won a Grammy?
No.
And the interviewer's telling him, like, no, you've never been. I don't have in my notes that you've been. No, I got it at home. So he calls his wife, and it's not a Grammy. It's some kind of American award for something else.
Oh, that's
and he's
awesome.
thought for 30 plus years that he won a Grammy.
That's fantastic.
And it's just wife was like, "No, hon, it's not a Grammy."
No.
Oh man, but yeah, sad nonetheless. But I have a question for you, Brian? Is Ed Orgeron about to get back into coaching? Because it's a long shot, but his name is being thrown around as a possible candidate at Oregon State.
So there's going to be a more than a handful of jobs opened up this year.
Yeah,
I don't know that Coach O is going to make the cut for any of them because they're all going to be of a certain Power 4 level. But here's what I'm looking for. Okay,
all right,
all those jobs, the Penn States, probably Florida, Arkansas, like everybody that's opened up right now. Oregon State's going to be in that number. Everybody that's opened up right now is going to get filled. Who's going to fill the jobs that they've left behind? It's not the Power 4 jobs that I'm looking at for Coach O to get back into it.
Yeah.
It's the group of 4 or maybe the next step down, or the group of 6 or maybe the next step beyond that, where everyone in the Power 4 is going to go fishing, right?
Yeah.
Like, Tulane's coach is going to get snatched up. So who coaches Tulane? That's where I'm looking at for Ed.
Yeah. But yeah, according to Orgeron, he says he's ready to coach again. And he says, quote, "I left a little bit of meat on the bone and I'm ready to go." So
the world is a better place when he is coaching. I want him coaching. I miss him at LSU. I know 2020 was an absolute nightmare. But remember, with everything that we had to work with in 2020,
right.
Okay, we had the beyond perfect storm of you had to replace that 2019 roster, which was the best in the history of college football, okay? Then you had COVID, which meant you were only getting conference games, and then you did not have home field advantage because you literally had cardboard cutouts in Tiger Stadium. And let's not forget Jamar Chase opted out for the year, so Miles Brennan was not going to get his number 1 receiver. And let's not forget Miles Brennan was getting better game after game before he was drawn and quartered against was that against Missouri? I think it was.
I would have to, check it out.
Either way, it was just the cards were stacked completely against Coach O to be able to start he went from a reload to a rebuild, and look, I understand all of it, and I know I'm on an island on this take, okay, but I do kind of miss the guy, a lot. I do. All right. We're at 612 at Talk 107.3 FM. I want to stay on time. So let's go ahead. Here's what we're going to do from right here in the 180 Pros studios. We're going to take a break, come back, and we're going to talk LSU with some audio from our current coach. That would be Mr. Brian Kelly next. 6:15. Hang on. Bear with me. There we go. 6:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got a full slate of football this weekend, y'all. Let's go ahead and start with tonight. All the scores from around the state on Ken Trahan's original high school football report right here from 6 to 11 on Talk 107.3 FM. We just picked the show up this year. It has thus far been just an absolutely wild ride. When I tell you they move fast and they're everywhere, they move fast and they're everywhere. Ken Trahan's original high school football report. You will hear it right here, picking up scores from around the state from 6 to 11 p.m. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., over on the Bluffs, you're going to have Southern hosting Prairie View A&M. It is Southern's homecoming this week. Southern is also looking for their first conference win of the season. Should be a good one out there for the Jaguars. Couple hours before that, up in Nashville, it'll be LSU and Vanderbilt. 11 a.m. is your kickoff time there. Network pregame starts at 9. Eagle 98.1's Game Day starts at 7 a.m. Brian Kelly, yesterday speaking with the media, talked about, from his end, cut 7's the first one, from LSU's end on the offensive side, getting Barry and Brown more involved in the offense.
Well, sometimes it's not as easy as saying, let's get them involved, right? I mean, if they're going to play 4 under 3 deep, and they're going to buzz the outside, your outside receivers now, they're not as viable. You play quarters and it's match on the outside, you got one-on-one routes. So it's really just saying, look, we recognize that we've got a talented player here, and we got to find more touches. And sometimes finding those touches is circumstances, right, in the game that allows it. But we recognize his talent, and we sometimes have to create some opportunities for him.
Which, if your run game is decent and you're hitting Trey Green 7 or 8 times, the the defense is going to have to stay honest for Vanderbilt and play that quarters coverage because they've got to be everywhere. Meanwhile, how is Vanderbilt's defense? Coach Kelly talked about that.
It's fundamentally sound. All gaps, coverages, they keep the ball in front of them. They're just stingy because they're so disciplined in what they do and how they do it. And they repeat that every single time. It's not like, okay, well, we can get a shot over their head this time, or they're going to cut the B gap loose. They're just so consistent in what they do.
Flipping it around from Vandy's defense to Vandy's offense, there has been, I believe I'm using this word right, an evolution?
There's definitely a development in their understanding of the offense, what they want to do. Second year there, right, where they've really, I think what they've done more than anything else is develop the players. As I mentioned in the press conference, I think the players that are back in this offense now are much more developed from last year. They're more confident in running the offense as well.
Well, but a lot of that revolves around quarterback Diego Pavia being otherworldly, and he has continued to be through this year. So you got to put some pressure on him up front.
Yeah, certainly one of the things that we've done really well is put pressure on the quarterback. But I'll be honest with you, it's going to be our ability to control first and second down, or third down becomes quick game and it doesn't matter. You're not getting home. The ball's coming out so fast, you can't get there. So you've got to get into predictable third down situations, which then obviously that lends itself to us having some more success. So the real challenge here is first down and second down, and making sure that when they get to third down, it's more than third and short.
Like we said, kickoff 11 a.m. tomorrow on Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1's Game Day will begin at 7 a.m. Not to look too far ahead, but the Saints have a decent chance of picking up another win. They're on the road at Chicago. Well, matchup-wise, they have a decent chance. Historically, they don't do too well at Soldier Field, but the Saints will be taking on Chicago Bears on Sunday. That game is also on Eagle 98.1. Here's the Fox Business Report. You have the Jeremy Swift interview? Uh-huh. I think it should be in the September folder. 650. Ballard 1. He's going to go Ballard 1, Matt Lee, and then we'll get back to Ballard 2 if we have time. That Ballard 2 is super duper long. So we might skip Ballard 1. Just it's under a minute. How long is the Matt Lee cut? So it gives us 214 between the first two, and then the last one's 240. Yeah, he droned on a little bit. We're good. No, seriously, there's no delays on the interstates right now. There are no surface street exits to report. We're good. Your drive times are what they would be if you're by yourself on the interstate, because you basically are. Starting off with a very, very smooth Friday on your drive, and that's the look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. We ain't Paul in here. 623 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. A quick second to tell you about the folks over at Mathern's. You know where to find them. They're downtown on 3rd Street. They are in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. And they are also on Highland, just west of Kenilworth. That's their OG location, by the way. Way back in the day when there was Kenilworth Supermarket, that was the Mathern's family. They're back at it. It's a phenomenal location. Love that store. It's like my normal go-to Mathern's is the one on campus. It's just the easiest one to get to from where I work right here on Government Street. But man, that Kenilworth location is just beyond compare. They really they tricked it out right when they flipped that thing back to. And as great as it is inside, even better than that is the fact you don't even have to go in. You knock out your shopping online. If you download the Mathern's Rewards app, you can build out your shopping list as you go, or you just browse section by section within the store, picking out what you want on your grocery list. They'll bring it out to you. You're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop. Your coupons and discounts and deals, they're automatically applied. It's very, very user-friendly. Download the Mathern's Rewards app today. All right, out at LSU yesterday, had a bit of a presser, if you will. Talk about safety on campus on game day. I want to make sure I get to all of this because, yeah, we got to start with cut one, with Ballard one. Board of Supervisors Chairman Scott Ballard talking about who it is. Well, not necessarily who it is committing the violence, but who it's not.
It's also important to note that 95% of the violence that happens on college campuses across the country does not involve students, faculty, or staff. This data was provided to me from our law enforcement behind me. So many of the changes are focused on the safety and the fan experience of our campus at LSU and our ticket holders at LSU. So to be clear, there are essentially two goals we have zeroed in on. One, first, we are seeking to eliminate violent crime and firearm violence from campus. Second, we are intending to implement a variety of measures to enhance the quality of the game day experience for our ticket-holding fans and their families.
He said earlier in that statement that on an average game day, you'll have 150,000 people on campus, and that's roughly 50,000 people more than fits in the stadium. I'm curious to see how this is going to play when it comes to cracking down on tailgaters who don't go to the game. Because by and large, they're fine up until they're not, right? Like, until we had the incident during the Florida game and then the incident during the South Carolina game. I mean, it's been commonly known. Hey, you going out to campus today to tailgate? Yeah, absolutely. You going to the game? Nah, probably not. We'll just hang out a little bit, you know, eat some good food, visit with some good friends, and then head back to the house. That's just a normal part of a Saturday in Baton Rouge, right? So when he mentions ticket holders, it's going to be a tough road to walk, to be sure. Meanwhile, interim president Matt Lee took to the microphone as well to talk about one part of the solution and how they're going to go about implementing it. Matt Lee.
As you know, for 2 weekends, we had firearm-related violence occur on campus. Working closely with my cabinet and law enforcement, we believe we have traced the origins of both of those shootings to a specific tailgating area. In this area, we had a student group, and to be clear, student groups are required to apply for permission to have a tailgate function, but we had a student group that submitted inaccurate applications. This yielded a large number of people being drawn to campus for the tailgate who have no current or historic affiliation with the university. Further, we have enough evidence that some attendees at this tailgate were engaged in illegal or dangerous behavior to warrant eliminating it. Therefore, the space on campus, referred to as Unity Field, is being closed for the remainder of the football season. It is being fenced off, and it is being rendered inaccessible to everyone. In addition, the student group that's responsible for attracting unmanageable crowds is being put through a student conduct process in keeping with our existing policies.
That's just the first step. They went back to Scott Ballard for a whole lot more, and I'm keeping an eye on time, and we're not going to have enough time to get to all of it. But look for closures of Highland Road if you don't have a parking pass that gets you up and down Highland Road, which I think is interesting because that's a state highway. Implementation of that is going to be difficult. Before, it's been, you had to go to the other side of Highland before the parking pass crackdown and whatnot. But now it's looking like Highland Road will be part of the closure. Look for, and I'm looking forward to this, huge crackdown on the weed. Yeah. Scott Ballard talked about it a good bit. He said on campus throughout the day, in the stadium as well, both campus and the stadium are smoke-free environments. If that applies to tobacco, why wouldn't it apply to the marijuana? And be on the lookout for it. And by the way, if you're caught with, that criminal amount, you're going straight to jail. They talked about forfeiture of tickets if you are in violation of any of the things that they're finding wrong, which I also found interesting because on the one hand, you're telling me 95% of this is not students, and then you follow that up by saying it was a student group who lied on their application to get non-students out there, and then if you want to crack down on ticket holders, it's not the ticket holders causing the problem, so that's not going to be a problem. We'll pick up on this later on. Right now, we got to hit up with ABC News, wet traffic, wet weather. Gifford Briggs joins us next. That's Gifford. I forgot to print the email from him. Or from his people. His people. Ford. I was glad to see the email too, because the moment this moratorium came out, I'm like, there's a handful of people I want to hear from. It was Tommy Fauché, it was Mike Moncla, and it's Gifford Briggs on the speak to this type of point.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
Let's see if Condon's on right now. Condon's on more than me in the 6 o'clock hour. Bum, 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 bum. Yes. Okay, Moon, which of your core beliefs does it violate? Which of your core beliefs does carbon capture violate? Oh, it's Green New Deal. You don't have to believe in the Green New Deal to cash a fucking check. It's junk science. That's fine. It's someone else's junk science. You know what's not junk? The money, bitch. Hey, good morning. Sure. Yeah, can we split one? Oh. No. Yes, plenty. Thank you. My pleasure. .637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Coming to you from the 180 Pros Studios. 180 Pros, your business's IT partner. Joining us now on the hotline is Gifford Briggs. Gifford Briggs is with the American Petroleum Institute, heads up the Gulf Coast region there. Gifford, welcome aboard. How are you, sir?
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Earlier in the week, our governor issued an executive order basically dropping a moratorium on new carbon capture projects, and I kind of wanted to pick your brain about it and see where you stood on this.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's been an interesting week to say the least. I think Governor Landry laid out a lot of his case in the 17 pages or so executive order.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest, the word moratorium in Louisiana's, oil and natural gas industry don't exactly have a long-standing positive relationship. You go back to President Obama's moratorium in the Gulf of Mexico and, President Biden's pause or moratorium, if you want to say it, on LNG permits. And
Yep.
it's from our perspective, it's unfortunate that particular section of the executive order was that he felt necessary to put in place.
Okay, so, is there a section of the moratorium, or is there a section of the executive order, I should say, that sounds a little bit more appealing?
I mean, I think that if you look at the first 4 or 5 pages, talks about the importance of carbon capture and Class 6 wells, that Louisiana is a leader in this space in recognizing all kinds of projects, that this is something that President Trump supports. And so I think that recognizes, the opportunity that Louisiana has. It also acknowledges that Texas is coming really close behind. They already have a Class 6 permit that was granted by the EPA. They'll have primacy here in the next few months, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
That's acknowledged in there. And so, there's the window for Louisiana to be the sort of sole leader in the Gulf Coast is either gone or rapidly diminishing. He recognizes all of that in the executive order. And the meat of the action, once you get past the moratorium, there's a lot of focus on existing law. There's a section that sets aside a period of 45 days to review existing permits and prioritize them,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can be more efficiently processed. I mean, that seems to make a lot of sense. If you look at API on the federal level right now in the industry, and not just our industry, all industries, we're working closely with the federal government to look at ways in Congress to do permitting reform, so that how can we more efficiently expedite and move permits through the process while still maintaining the integrity of the reviews that are necessary to permit the action. So I think all of that makes sense. But is there a way that we could have done it without putting the moratorium in place? Is there a way we could have done it without even signaling and that a moratorium was necessary? I think that we could have accomplished both without using the word moratorium, just because of the message that sends to investors and to others, that Louisiana is essentially closed for new business. And on top of that, there's no sunset in place. So it's not like this executive order goes away in 12 months or goes away in 2 years. It will require another action by the administration or directive from the governor to be able to move forward. And so from an industry standpoint, you can think of a project, but there's no timeline that would ever be able to be reviewed.
We got
Sorry, that was a lot in a very short period of time.
No, but you hit on everything that I was asking about, Gifford. Gifford Briggs from the American Petroleum Institute, our guest. The big part to me here is the no sunset part of this. Well, actually, no. The big part to me is, like you said, the first 11 pages where it's whereas President Donald Trump is in favor of carbon capture and sequestration, whereas we already have a number of projects in the pipeline, whereas we have primacy and we do it right and we do it safe, whereas this means money and jobs, whereas all the good things, we're still going to drop a moratorium in there and not put a sunset on it. It's, the lack of sunset is a big part of this for me because of Texas's impending primacy.
Well, it's not just Texas. Texas was recognized in the executive order, but Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas are all going through their process right now. And I think that we can expect for them sometime in the first quarter of next year, the second quarter at the latest, to all have primacy. And so then you're looking at not just Louisiana being the place to go, that you now have active competition from other states, and they will have primacy before, as you said, with no sunset, before this moratorium ends. And so if you're looking at a new project right now, or you have an idea for a project, and you haven't submitted a permit to Louisiana, you're going to begin having those conversations with Texas. I mean, Mississippi is, right there, and next door to Louisiana, and along the existing CO2 pipeline is there. They have a lot of manufacturing industry there as well. They've got great geology like Louisiana does to store CO2. So that's a lot of competition. And Arkansas and Alabama, Alabama has a tremendous manufacturing industry. They have now, all the development going on at Huntsville. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity there as well. Until the moratorium ends, new projects are going to have to look at other places.
I only mentioned Texas, Gifford, because they're second in line. They're like, when you're leading the race, you look at the person who's directly behind you to keep your distance from them. Yes, you're right. There is an entire pack right behind Texas that could overtake us as well. But I look at Texas because they're the closest to us. And tell me if I'm wrong on this metaphor. I may be way off here. I feel like, in the wrestling matches, like when you're watching WWE or whatever, and the heel slams the good guy on the ground, and it looks like, like let's say it's Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan looks like he's out, and the ref will pick up his arm once, pick up his arm twice, and on the third time he'll hold his arm up, and then before you know it, Hulk Hogan's beating the bad guy up just to oblivion. I feel like we're the bad guy dancing around the ring right now, just daring Texas to get back up again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say Louisiana's the bad guy, but in your analogy...
No, but in the analogy we are.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense, right? That is very true. And I think the reality is that, look, there is a long history between Texas and Louisiana in the industry and competing for resources. And there's a lot of talk about the Permian Basin being, Acadiana to the west, yep. Right? Because you go over there and there's more Louisiana license plates and Boudreaux's and Thibodeaux's than there are anything else. And so there's a lot of competition there. But also historically, Texas's permitting process has been light years ahead of Louisiana, where an injection permit in Louisiana could take 6 to 12 months, and it's 30 days in Texas. And so, as Governor Landry, I think, said in the executive order that these have taken, 2 years and 2,000 hours to review, they've been able to review permits simultaneously while applying. So there's a partnerships with EPA, so the permits that have been submitted to EPA can also be reviewed by Texas, so that the moment that they get primacy, they can begin taking action on those permits. And so the general thought is that Texas is going to rather quickly begin issuing their Class 6 permits. And so if that's the case, it's possible that Texas ends up with more final CCS Class 6 permits out the door in, the first half of next year than Louisiana has in the 2.5 years they've had the program.
But the real danger here, Gifford Briggs from APIs, I guess, the real danger here to me, Gifford, is not who can put carbon CO2 in the ground the fastest. The real danger to me, though, is the tangential job market here. What I'm looking at is, and I don't care what anybody's take is on climate change or whatever. I just know and accept that there are people out there who are 100% on board with the idea of carbon offsets and whatnot. I'm looking at not the people putting the carbon in the ground, but the people looking to take advantage of the offsets, coupling with them That's where the real economic development is where if you're in a state that's pumping the carbon into the pumping the CO2 into the ground, you're in a state that whose economic development department can say, look what we're doing here. This is why we should attract you as well.
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, Louisiana's got $70 billion allegedly, or, depending upon whose estimates you're looking at, in announced projects that require a Class 6 well or some component of CCS, right?
Right.
That is directly related to companies' desire to either be low carbon themselves or create low carbon products, because there is a market for low carbon products.
Right.
And so people, depending upon where you are, you look at this and people have different thoughts. And I heard Moon's advertisement on earlier, and I've spoken with him, and I know he has his thoughts. That's neither here nor there from Louisiana, right?
Right.
Carbon capture exists. Low carbon exists. People want to buy low carbon products, and there's a market for it. And so Louisiana can either receive the benefit of that and get the investment and build out an industry that creates those products and then sells those products, or we can watch Texas and Mississippi and Alabama and Arkansas do it and not receive the benefit. And so, I mean, I think, again, that's the question that's at play here, and that's the risk, is that these industries are going to be built. People are going to be making, low carbon ammonia and in building data centers that have a smaller or a lower carbon footprint. All of these things are going to happen.
Yeah.
The question is where, and Louisiana right now still has the opportunity to be the leader in this space and see billions of investment and new jobs and new opportunity and new economic impact to local governments and to people and to school systems and to safety and all of those things, or it can let it slip out of their hands and see those investments start going elsewhere.
That's where we're going to have to break it for right now. He's Gifford Briggs with the American Petroleum Institute, runs the Gulf Coast end of that. Gifford, we always appreciate the time, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Anytime. You'll have a great weekend. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. We will talk very, very soon. Quick break. Come back. We'll keep it moving next. Break. How long is the Jeremy Swift interview? How long is this break? Because we're missing your money now. Okay. With traffic? Okay. Smash right into Jeremy Swift from here.
Morning, everyone. Shout out to Andy. Andy, big Kiss fan? Kiss founded in 1973. Wow. I was always intrigued by, I don't know, the stage presence, but I never really got into their music like that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I love the theatrics of it. I just never really got into it.
You don't like rock and roll all night?
I do. I can dig it. I can dig the hits. I guess I didn't go any deeper
Detroit
than
Rock
that.
City?
Yeah, the movie was cool too. I remember that movie as a kid.
Lick It Up? Lick It Up was good.
Lick It Up. That was their first, I think it was like their first album without makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah. That music video. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, I was like a fan from afar. Like when Gene Simmons had his reality show, like I was all about that. Like me and Jamie were all about that. I don't know what it was, but it was just, But yeah, I don't know. Just never really got into him like that.
Smash right into it. It's not all blood, guts, and gore on the big screen this Halloween. There's also a family-friendly film called Grow. Joining us now, star of that movie, Jeremy Swift. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing very well as well. We're going to get to Grow in just a second, but there's no way we don't start off by talking a little Ted Lasso because we've got Higgins on the hotline.
Sure.
Oh, my goodness. Was there any way to know what you were getting into when Ted Lasso was first pitched? Like, this was 3 seasons of perfection, sir.
Absolutely not. No. And when I first was told about it by my agent, when she kind of pitched it to me, she said, I am not a football person. I'm not really a sporty person. Mm-hmm. And so she said, it's about football. And I literally went, oh, no. Because quite often I found that I didn't usually get jobs. Not that you can make a sort of rule. That I didn't have an affinity with. But when I saw the script and I saw what fun it was and how warm it was, I was completely in, of course. But there was no way on this earth that I could know the phenomena that it became. No way. Which happened really quickly, by the way. In about 4 or 5 episodes, people were going crazy about it. So something you could predict.
Absolutely hooked. In fact, the wife and I are going back through it for the 3rd time now. So just
Wow.
When the announcement came out that y'all be back for a 4th season. By the way, how did you take that? Because everybody wants more, but at the same time, the cardinal rule of leaving them wanting more. That 3 seasons was perfection. Was there any kind of conflict at all to say, no, sign me up for a 4th?
I know what you mean, and they rounded it off beautifully. And the episode was written by Jason for the last episode of season 3. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there were some little seeds being planted there for future shows and a future arc. So I wasn't surprised, and I was in fact hopeful that there would be that it would come back. And it was. I mean, the announcement was made just over a year ago, and I was really excited to be back on board. And it's been such fun working with it again.
And we're looking forward to it, absolutely. One more quick side note: the wife and I were out at a bar, and they had a jazz trio, and the whole night we just kept calling the bass player Higgins. I think he got a little annoyed with us, but he knew we were coming from a place of love. So, all right, Grow is coming up. Let's move from football to pumpkins. Tell us all about the film.
Yeah. Well, same shape, really. The film is a great, heartwarming comedy family film. It's coming out on October the 17th in theaters all over America, and it's about a little girl called Charlie, and who's played by the excellent Priya Rose Brookwell, who's only like 10, and she's just so talented. You can't believe she's only like 5 minutes old. How did that happen? It's baffling. Anyway, this Charlie has been abandoned by a family, and she goes to live with her auntie, who's very grumpy, and she lives in the countryside. She runs a farm, and the last thing she needs is a little kid on the farm, because farms are tough enough. And we, as the audience, discovered that Charlie has this kind of almost magical way of communing with plants, and she can sort of touch plants and know if they're well, or they're in the wrong conditions. They should be in the sun, or they need more watering, or if they've been given too much fertilizer. And so she has this propensity to grow stuff incredibly well. And in the village, each year, of course, in the countryside, there is this huge pumpkin festival competition, mm-hmm. and so they enter it, and it's really about saving the farm as much as anything. And of course, there are some crazy characters in the village, and I play one of them. I work for a fertilizer company, bad guy, Mr. Gregory, and he grows his pumpkin in lab conditions, completely artificial environment, the complete opposite to what Charlie is doing, which is like attuning herself to her pumpkin. And it's just a lot of fun. The kids will love it, and mums and dads, grandparents, bring your whole family, your aunties and your uncles, bring your dogs, bring your cats.
I will step in right there. Do not bring your dogs. No. Do not bring your dogs. Bring the whole family, yes, but we could draw a line right there.
It's a well-trained dog.
I got to ask you, and I know from time to time actors will give me the answer, whatever pays the bills. But do you have a favorite when it comes to whether or not you're making a series or making a movie? Because on a movie, you could dive all in on a project. On a series, there's that long-going basis of growing and evolving characters. Do you have a favorite, a passion that you like to dive in on more?
Yeah, well, not in just in terms of what medium I'm playing in. Really, it just depends on the script, and whether I take to it or not. And I really just have an affinity with comedy, and if there's a good story in the comedy, then I'm in there. But doing something that is ongoing, a show like this it's kind of, for me, Ted Lasso. I'm sorry, I'm talking about. That's quite a dream, because I've really fan worshipped American comedy really all my life since I was a kid. With the Dick Van Dyke Show and I Love Lucy, Friends and Frasier and The Office, the American Office. And I think it's what you guys do so well to work on an American scripted comedy is really a career dream for me that has come true. So how lucky am I? I pinch myself.
Absolutely. He is Jeremy Swift, the star of the new Halloween film, Grow. Give me just a quick 30 seconds, and I know you got to get out of here. But working on a family-friendly film, Halloween is something that draws blood and gore to the screen. This is a step away from that.
It really is, and it's really refreshing, And Halloween doesn't have to be completely spooky and scary, guys. It can be an appreciation of each other and stuff that grows, and that's when we reap all our stuff, isn't it? At the end of the season.
Jeremy Swift, I know time is tight this morning. I appreciate a couple minutes. Thank you for hopping on board.
Thank you, sir. You take care.
You do the same. Oh. Wow.
Don't you just love when that happens?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, That's good stuff. It's a simple thing sometimes.
God, that was good. Only thing wrong there was I didn't get to promote it. Because I went so long with Gifford, I wanted to tease that Higgins was coming up, That's bad broadcaster. And that's how I'll lead the second hour. How you like that little walk down memory lane with Ted Lasso, though?
That's good, yeah. Gosh, man. And I was late. I was late to Ted Lasso. But, yeah, I kept seeing these memes. And just, I'm like, I need to
do you believe in ghosts, Ted? Yeah, but I believe they should believe in themselves.
Yeah. It's got a lot of heart, man. I love that.
I'm curious as to how many people took on therapy as a result of Ted Lasso.
Really?
Remember when Sopranos first came out?
Okay, yeah.
It was noted that after Sopranos season 1, the number of people seeing a psychiatrist nationwide,
Really?
the number of people seeing a psychiatrist increased by 12% or something like that.
Dang.
I'm curious if Ted Lasso had that same effect.
Wow. I wouldn't be surprised. When did it come? So Ted Lasso, what, 2020 it came out?
Was it that old?
I don't know. I didn't know if you know off the top of your head.
God, that biscuit was good.
It was good.
Yeah, 2020.
So yeah, during a time when, lockdowns and all this other stuff and everyone's just,
And we all needed his positivity.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And then,
not shit talking other people. And
maybe it did encourage a lot of people to say, you know what? I think I'm going to get some therapy. I think I'm going to get some help. maybe a lot of people realize, maybe I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Being confined in our own houses and things like that. Yeah, man. Yeah, really good show, though. Gosh.
Sorry.
Bro, can't even say it. Bro. Bro, I know. I literally just like. Oh man.
Sweet God, that's so good.
That is funny. Yeah, that's about right.
S- 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, JP producing. We're starting off the second hour from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, your business's IT partner. Starting off at 63 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Busy hour this hour. We got Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst coming up 10 minutes from right now. This might be a little bit one of those trademark Darryl Hurst segments where he starts on the phone and then ends up in the studio. He just texted. He said, I'm on my way. Might have to dial in. It wouldn't be the first time. He coming in hot. Darryl Hurst coming in hot. He's got a huge proposal and big plans, big dreams. And that's one of my favorite things to talk about is how to dream to make Baton Rouge a better place. To revive Plank Road is what he wants to do. The Delmont Economic Development District. He's got to work on the acronym because that literally spells out dead. You don't want it to be dead on arrival. But the plan is a good one. So we'll talk with Darryl Hurst at 7:15. We got Walt Leger from New Orleans and Company at 7:35. That's all still to come. Right now, though, top stories and trending. Let's get it.
Number 5.
Starts us off with a look at the tropics. Actually, not the tropics. We got a system in the northern Atlantic right now that has a 10% chance of becoming a named storm. Not going to bother anybody, but it is out there, so we tell you about it. Now we move down to the tropics, and there's another system that has a 30% chance of becoming a named storm. It's east of the Windward Islands, moving into the Caribbean. It's a tropical wave currently located over the central tropical Atlantic, and it's associated with a large area of showers and thunderstorms. Probably won't be a problem for us either, based off of steering currents, but we do tell you about it because hurricane season remains open all the way through November 30th.
Number 4.
Sylvester Boulany was arrested for principal to second-degree murder after Marvin Tolliver, 29 years old, a barber at Fade District Barbershop, was killed in a shooting. Boulany got into an argument with a staff member. He left, came back with 2 other men who confronted a shop employee before a fight ensued. Once the fight ensued, they shot the place up. And here's the thing. The 2 others, not Boulany, the 2 others shot and killed Tolliver, who was not even a part of the fight. He was just a bystander in the whole thing.
Number 3.
Governor Jeff Landry is calling state lawmakers back to Baton Rouge for a special session to deal with next year's elections, the day after the Supreme Court heard arguments on what map Louisiana might use for future U.S. House races. The special session will convene on October 23rd.
Number 2.
3 people, including Sheriff Leland Falcon, were shot in Assumption Parish on Thursday afternoon. Yes, the sheriff of the parish was one of the ones shot. The sheriff's office said Sheriff Falcon responded to a shooting on Bayou Drive in Pierre Part because he was the closest person to the 2 homes when the call went out. Another deputy followed shortly behind him. Sheriff Falcon's fine. The bullet just grazed him. In fact, he remained on the scene for some time after the shooting.
Number 1.
1 man was shot in the midsection on North Street near North 36th yesterday evening. Taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Beyond that, details are scarce. Meanwhile, 1 person's dead, another is injured after a shooting at the Ridgewood Apartments in Maringouin. Iberville Parish Sheriff Brett Stassi said deputies were responding around 6:12 p.m. They confirmed the 2 casualties. Man, hey, JP, before you get into what's trending, man, I want to go back to it. Like, we ran long in that other segment,
Yes.
so I apologize. We dove right into that Jeremy Swift interview without any tease, without any heads up or anything like that. I hate when I do that. I mean, we introed it at the beginning of the show, but it was such a good interview.
It was.
He was so open about like what his role was on Ted Lasso. Like, wasn't going to take to it because he's not a sports guy, right?
Man.
And then you just look at the way Ted Lasso played out. I don't know. Good on him. It was good stuff.
Yeah, he was great in getting that role as well. Higgins, man. Yeah, it's good stuff.
And he's back for season 4.
Yeah. Can you believe that? Season 4. Wow.
Okay, so where are you at on that? Because you heard me ask him the question, right?
Yep.
3 seasons was perfection.
Yes.
Storylines wrapped up with a nice, neat bow.
Yep.
The number 1 rule in entertainment is always leave them wanting more.
That's right.
So where are you at? Do you want season 4 or not?
Of course, I would like to see a season 4, but I also, you wonder. Of course, you want to see a season 4, but then you think, well, where could they go from here? I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
To see where they're going to pick up. So
Same.
yeah, looking forward to it. Hey, in other news, former National Security Advisor John Bolton was indicted by a grand jury on Thursday on charges that he allegedly unlawfully transmitted and retained classified documents. Oof.
Yeah.
Which he claims.
So the headline's always going to read that Donald Trump is looking for political retribution. So
yeah,
is
that what we're seeing here?
Well, we can ask Izzy, but if you're going to follow the patterns, it looks like he is.
Yeah.
My question isn't whether or not he is seeking political retribution. My question is, do you even care? We're in such a tit for tat world.
Yeah.
An eye for an eye. It leaves the whole world blind, by the way. But
blind. That's right.
But do you care, or is turnabout fair play here?
Well, in other news, the music world lost another one, Brian. Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley passed away yesterday at the age of 74.
Crazy.
Yeah. He was on life support after suffering a brain bleed from a fall that ultimately took his life. But, this was confirmed by his family. But not to make light of the situation, but we talked about it last hour, about him thinking that Kiss won a Grammy.
Yeah.
It was actually a Recording Academy New York Heroes Award.
Oh, sure. Well, I can see those two things. Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Grammy.
Yeah. Where do they hold the Grammys?
Oh, man. It's not in California.
No.
I would almost think either California or New York, but I could be wrong about that.
It's Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. So
Okay.
I guess, did that used to be the Forum?
Your guess is just as good
All
as
right.
mine. But
I'm just saying, there's There's a big difference between the Crypto.com arena and like a VFW hall in Manhattan.
Oh, come
It's-
Oh man. But yeah, sad loss coming out of the music world, but nonetheless, you trying to find a silver lining anywhere you can.
I swear,
right?
I swear I've got a Grammy.
Yeah, he called his wife
Yeah.
during the interview.
We flew right into Peoria, Illinois for the ceremony. Swear I've got a Grammy.
Man.
They had finger sandwiches there.
Yeah, totally got one. Oh man. In
What
other news, is Ed Orgeron about to get back into coaching? Well, still a long shot, but his name is being thrown around as a possible candidate at Oregon State.
I don't know what I think of Ed Orgeron in Oregon.
Orgeron, Oregon. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can
Well, it's only one letter off.
play with that.
But where I'm going is like culture fit wise.
yeah,
You see him out in Oregon.
I mean, not necessarily, but
Here's where I'm at. All right.
Okay.
You have these top tier jobs, these power 4 jobs.
that's right.
Is Ed Orgeron a legitimate candidate for one of those, or will those jobs be filled by the up and comers who are coming from the group of 6, or maybe a little bit further down the line there, the group of 6, or maybe somebody in the Sun Belt or something, right?
Yeah.
We saw what happened. Florida went and got somebody from the Sun Belt, and they're already they're about to be looking for a new coach again. So I don't see Ed Orgeron in those Power 4 jobs. I see them once someone leaves to go to the Power 4, filling that next round.
Yeah. Well, according to Orgeron, he says, I left a little bit of meat on the bone, and I'm ready to go.
Love it.
So he's ready.
Love it. I mean, the same guy that said, where do you want me to sign and which door do you want me to leave out of?
Yep. Here we go.
7:13. Roll it over to 7:14 to talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst is up next. You told me it was a minute and a half. I was going 45 seconds. Well, that's what she said. 717 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. One of my favorite things to talk about on this show, because I hate talking politics, one of my favorite things to talk about is where we're going and where we could be. Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst has a very bold plan for the Plank Road area, and he joins us to talk about it right now. How are you, sir?
Glad to be here, man. It's a great day in Baton Rouge, and it's going to be an even better day in North Baton Rouge after November 12th.
Well, hang on a second. Before we get to any of that, I would be remiss if I didn't spend just a minute talking about homecoming. It's homecoming week at Southern.
It is, and I'm a former football player.
Yes.
So my wife was Miss Southern. My mom was a dancing doll, so we are entrenched in Southern University.
The events go on all week long. I feel like Southern blows it out a lot more than LSU does for the events surrounding the day.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of day parties and tailgates. Today, there's a gala. There's a 2 or 3 concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Last night was there's a Greek show tonight too, I believe. But last night one of. But my point is, it's endless.
Right.
It's endless.
Right.
Correct.
Number of festivities going on. Are the Jaguars going to get their first conference win tomorrow?
You know, Terrence Graves was my position coach at Southern, so I believe in him. I believe the season's going to turn around, and the Jaguars will be victorious from here on out.
Okay. We can roll with that for sure. Now, let's get to the matter at hand. The revitalization of Plank Road. Talk to me a little bit about what went in, what it's going to look like, and then we'll get to what went into it.
So it'll keep the nostalgia of the old Plank Road, but with today's finishes. So if you take the Garden District homes, or if you take Government Street, I told everybody, imagine Government Street North.
Okay,
that's the easiest way to put it. The difference is we are going
pre-road diet.
Yeah,
yeah,
but we're creating design standards. You know, when you go to a Texas market, you know where you are based on the materials that are used.
Right.
And so we're literally going building by building and saying, this is how ugly you look. This is how good you could look. You know, sign the dotted line, we'll make it happen. One thing that we're excited about is support from all the letter agencies, the BRACs, the BRAFs, the CAFAs, the Bill Baton Rouges, the Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Foundation, the Mayor's Office, OCD. Everybody has come together and says, this is a simplistic plan. It is not complex in terms of attacking houses and economic corridors. It's taking one piece and eating that elephant one bite at a time. And this is one bite. And so we named it Revive Plank Road,
right,
which is a 3-part plan. So it starts off with the economic development district that I'm working on, which is Evangeline Airline. It's about $1.83 million.
Okay.
In general fund sales tax, so 2 pennies.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll double that for 10 years, $18.3 million. CAFA has committed to give us all of their financial tools and resources, including bonding.
Okay.
So what would normally take 10 years, we'll bond the money up front. We're either going to lose it to inflation or interest, right? And we'd rather lose it to interest so that we can do what we could have done in 10 years in 2 to 3 years.
Well, yeah, because no construction project cost tomorrow what it would have cost today.
Absolutely. And so that'll be a catalytic project that'll just change the face of it. We have some big local brands that have national franchises that are interested in that corridor, have made soft commitments. Some of them I can talk about is Peach Cobbler Factory. We're talking with Brandon Landry about taking the Piccadilly and turning the walk-ons. And the Fowle family in Delmont Village, they've committed to build a brand new ground-up walk-ons and demolish the old Piccadilly. We're talking with Selton Hayden Jr. and CC's Coffee about planning there. He drove the corridor this weekend with his family to figure out what location would potentially work for them. We're talking with David Aubrey in AT&T, Louisiana, about planning a store there. The old Firestone that just closed. So Piccadilly, Firestone, and Banner Insurance closed in the last 6 months. But the Firestone will be your new library. We'll add a second store to it, keep the nostalgia. And let me tell y'all something we did steal, by the way. If you go outside the Galleria Mall and you see the ring, the street sign of Westheimer and Post Oak that's in the air.
Houston Galleria.
The Houston Galleria Mall, that's right. So we kind of took that concept and created our own version of it with some cutouts that say Delmont. So every major corridor on Plank Road will have that ring in the air. with the Baton Rouge flair that associates with it. So we took best practices from around the country and brought them to the local market.
We're talking with Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst about the Revive Plank Road plan. First of all, we gotta talk about the acronym here. Delmont Economic Development District just spells out dead. We got to work on a better acronym, man.
Only you would figure that out, by the way.
I'm an acronym guy. So like we need to work on that just from the title alone, because the idea and the specificity of it, I believe, is where the success comes. All too often when we talk about North Baton Rouge, it's this monolith. It's just this big North Baton Rouge, whatever that means, right? Plank Road is specific. Delmont is specific. The parameters within the district are specific.
They are. So again, this is Evangeline the airline. And I'll tell you, what was started off as a 1-part plan ended up in a 3-part plan. So Bill Baton Rouge, along with Councilwoman Tawana Harris, and I believe Carolyn Coleman, are going to take Evangeline south. All right, so Evangeline, we both started Evangeline. I'll go north to Airline. They'll go south to I-110.
Mm-hmm.
And then Council Member Kinney has agreed to do the 3rd part, which is the Baker-Brownsville area. So our goal is to fix Plank Road, make it the economic epicenter that it once was, going from essentially I-110, where Plank actually starts. The name Plank starts from 22nd,
Mm-hmm.
all the way to Zachary and 64. And so Brandon Knoll it'll stop with him in the northern part of the parish.
Okay. You mentioned a couple of the names along the way for revitalization, but there's just a few. What was from what you had sent over? There's a heck of a lot more.
There is Great American Cookie Company and Marble Slab, Southern Classic Chicken. They're at the finish line of that. The shopping center that'll host Southern Classic Chicken. Tell y'all what's crazy. Some of these ones on the designs are not the exact buildings, just ones that we looked at.
Right.
But the Southern Classic Chicken was spot on. Didn't even know it when we put it up. And they're determining whether they're going to demolish the building or rebuild it. And public safety is at the forefront of all of this stuff. So it's going to be a joint effort. First question I got from some of these folks was, where are we getting our talent from, and what does public safety look like?
Mm-hmm.
And the talent, I said, is coming from where you always get it from, Southern University. The difference is they have to drive across town to go to work,
right,
versus around the corner. These are still highly educated and motivated college students looking for employment. Number 2 is public safety. So it'll be a joint effort between the Sheriff's Department, the City of Baton Rouge Police Department, and the Baton Rouge Constables, creating a biking community with a police hub where all 3 of them can land. Old school door-to-door community policing, being visible like downtown. Extra street sweeping, litter picking up by our maintenance crews. They've committed to make sure that it can look like a downtown north.
That's downtown north would be. You're talking multiple blocks across the way, not one run.
Well, that's why I said government street feel, but just the efforts that are put towards downtown on a day-to-day basis to make sure that it's a walkable community.
One of the bigger parts of the public safety end of this is just strictly having life there, taking old buildings and like empty buildings and bringing them back to life. That level of light shining in parking lots to street lights being upgraded, that in and of itself is a disinfectant to crime.
Well, I'll tell you that there's already been, so Mayor President Sid Edwards just put $3 million on Plank Road for lighting.
Yeah.
New lamps, new LEDs. We have 53.7 that's published, but it's closer to 60 million in the revitalization of Plank Road, going from Hooper to 22nd. We just put overlay programs in place on Evangeline and Hollywood, so the intersecting streets are already being redone. The main corridor is being redone. Bus rapid transit. Essentially what that does is when you hit the hydraulic system, the little hissing sound that comes from buses, that is them kneeling so that people can get on and off. Well, bus rapid transit raises the platform so that the buses don't have to kneel. It turns a 45-minute route into 20 to 35 minutes. So all of that's being overlaid.
Interesting.
Yep, it just makes it faster. All that's being overlaid, and Plank Road is a major hub for the entire investment of Baton Rouge and North Baton Rouge. And so when I talked to Chris Meyer at BRAF, he said, Darryl, we're 1,000% in, but you have to understand what we see around the country is that private investment, or public investment, leads into private investment. And he was the one that made the suggestion to bond it out. And then CAFA said we're 1,000% behind it as well. And they've actually contacted Regions Bank, because one of the things that we can't do is interior, but CAFA, Regions, and other people have stepped up to say, we'll do the interior. And then finally, Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Foundation, a lot of these folks are hustlers. They don't have business plans, sustainability plans, standard operating procedures.
Right.
They've committed to provide SOPs, sustainability models, marketing plans, integration of AI, so that these businesses can be duplicatable and turn into franchises if they wanted to, because they have a book that tells them how to go to start from finish.
Okay,
From
so
start to finish.
the next time we chat, we need to get deeper into that end of it, because to me, there's all kinds of potential there.
It is. And so in these conversations, Jill with Visit Baton Rouge has talked about food truck festivals, because Plank Road is known for food trucks in the evening time, and just a Plank Road festival in general. And how do we bring tourism to North Baton Rouge? So people are seeing the what's happening up front, and it's creating down the road visions as well.
I think bringing people in, I mean, that's got to start with the public safety end, and not just the reality of public safety, but the perception of the public safety.
Absolutely. And so when we make these improvements, I mean, people come to North Baton Rouge for Krispy Kreme, Tony's, the airport, and if they have kids, to go to the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want you to run back to your car at Krispy Kreme, run back to your car at Tony's. We want you to come to that and say, hey, there's a store next door, an antique shop I want to walk to. And I said this last night because the mayor gave me permission to do so, but the old Redemptor's football field.
Yeah.
$2 million committed from the city to redo that, to make it the next public stadium, as a partnership with BREC, so that we can have resources and tools accessible and a walkability in North Baton Rouge. So now we'll have Olympia, Memorial, and then the old Redemptor's field. So, and that was already done before this was even announced. So it's just a bunch of capital stacks that are public, that are coming together, that will lead to private investment.
We got about a minute left. Let's talk about the sales tax end of this, because that, to me, is the only sticking point you got so far.
Well, here's the deal. You know, one of the things I did, I sat down with Danielle Sadowal with Shoppers Value. We looked at the grocers up there. It's no different than LSU and Southern. If LSU can get a penny, we can get 2 pennies on Plank Road.
Okay.
LSU doesn't need it. Plank Road does.
Okay.
Right. So LSU is like tutoring. LSU is to get enrichment. Plank Road is to catch up. Right. And so if I can do one penny to grow my education, I can do 1 penny to put me on grade level. I mean, 2 pennies. And so it's sales tax. It's not something you can choose to use. But when talking with Shoppers Value, 80% of those folks over there on SNAP benefits. So it doesn't affect the people in the community.
Okay.
It's more about the passerbyers. I'm going to finish with this. 4,000 people at ExxonMobil every day. 10,000 people at Southern. 1,500 people at the Acadian campus for BRCC. Not mentioning the people that work in the corridor.
Yeah.
They have no place to eat. They have no place to get the basic resources. And we have the residents, if you include them, they would make any business thrive over there, which is why that Cane's is one of the most popular Cane's and most productive Cane's financially in the marketplace.
He is Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst. Definitely something we're going to be following, because this has the potential to be big, not just for the Plank Road area, but for feeding the entire city, getting Plank Road back to where it once was. Always appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Here's news. Walt Legier's next.
I did my homework, man. I knew that question was coming up.
What about sales tax? Yeah. Well, because so this is one where, as a conservative, I always run into a problem. Sales tax is regressive. It hurts the poor more than it hurts anybody else.
In this market, everybody says, y'all think black folks can't pay 2 cents? I mean, I'm just telling you, that's the rebuttal to or the objection handle, right?
It all depends on who you listen to.
Well,
I mean,
because it's white people that live in suburbia land. the rug from under them and making them go sell dope or whatever they were doing before, you know?
That's interesting because they do. They pay for the program. That's crazy.
It's crazy, man. But did you see the pictures I sent you?
I got them up on. Yeah.
And you can put them on the website too.
I'm going to put the big PDF on the website. The one that has all of it together. If you just scroll through.
Okay, yeah. So, good stuff, man. I'm glad. It's you know, let me tell you how good God is. Last year, I knew I could not go against Charles Landry on the EDD. I wouldn't have won
Right.
because he was pissed off. He had your buddy in her. He had your buddy in his pocket.
She is my buddy. I saw her last night.
That's fine. That's still true. Shannon Doe. So, she told me, don't go out there and fuck with the bunny, Darryl. So, I'm telling you.
.737 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Time to check in down in New Orleans as we so often do. Walt Leger is with us with New Orleans and Company. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Brian. It's great to be with you. How are you?
Doing very well. Glad to have you on. Glad to have so much to be talking about. Can you start with what's coming in January of next year or at the end of January next year? What is the Rockin' 1000?
Yeah, we're really fired up about this event. We were able to kind of catch on to what's been happening in Europe, and this was actually started in Italy a couple of years back. It's the Rockin' 1000, the biggest rock band on earth, where 1,000 musicians of all types perform together in a stadium. We're going to be bringing them to the Caesars Superdome January 31st. So there's actually room for up to 1,000 musicians to join the band, where they'll have some practice sessions and jam sessions to get ready for it, but ultimately they'll perform live together to a packed house. It's really an incredible viral moment. Happened all over Europe. Most recently, they were over in Portugal with a huge event. they were looking to come to the United States, and we were able to convince them that there was no better place to do that than New Orleans. So we're really pumped to bring that to the people of the United States and North America and open it up for musicians here from around the world to come participate at one of the greatest venues anywhere, the Caesars Superdome.
Oh, okay, so follow up on that, because that was my next question was, is there a 1,000-member band, or is this open for people to apply for to try and get in on this?
The time to sign up is now.
Okay.
So I understand that there's a few hundred musicians who have already enrolled to be a part of that 1,000-member band. There are some openings, but those are going to fill up, and ultimately there's only room for 1,000. But we'll have drummers, guitarists, singers, keyboardists, bassists, you name it, you can be a part of it. And they play iconic rock songs. It's really cool. Worth checking out on YouTube if you want to just kind of get a glimpse for what it is. But to me, it's a really incredible sense of community, music celebration. Really fits well with the people of Louisiana and people of New Orleans. I think it's going to be an incredible moment for us. So mark that on your calendar, either to participate or just to be there and be a part of the show, because really it's the whole stadium's really kind of in on it together. It's pretty cool to see.
So all the elements of a rock band, is there, and I don't know if there's like something behind the scenes that can't be spoiled, but is there room? Look, I can't think of New Orleans music without thinking of brass. Is that going to have to be for the next go around?
There are some great things that we're talking about and planning. There's generally some surprises that are a part of it. And so we're still working on rolling some of those things out, but we are excited to do it. I don't think people are going to be disappointed. It's going to be a really neat moment. And like I said, I really think we're still trying to help people understand what it is. And really one of the best ways to do that is go online, check out Rockin' 1000. You'll get to see it's been in about 20 nations around the world, selling out stadiums, and it's just a really cool vibe. So I think people are going to enjoy it a lot.
We got Walt Leger on with us from New Orleans and Company. Let's pivot real quick. I would be remiss if I let too much time slip by without asking you about the mayoral election. It is now in the rearview mirror. Your takeaways?
Well, one, I think a lot of people are excited that the campaign is over, and certainly there's a lot of excitement around the winner of that campaign. Helena Moreno, our new mayor, will be taking office soon. The transition's underway, and ultimately an opportunity to turn the page and move in a new direction. She's been a friend of mine for a long time, a colleague in the state legislature, somebody that I respect a great deal, and no doubt about her work ethic, her commitment, her desire to move our city and forward. And when the city does well, the state does well. So I'm excited about continuing to see how she brings people together, builds partnerships with state leadership and with federal leadership, regardless of party affiliation. And think there's just a lot of optimism, and it's needed.
How well do you think, and I'm just asking for your gut on this one, Walt, is how well do you think she's going to do between the minutia that New Orleans needs to get on track and then maintaining, if not excelling, in the big items that New Orleans has been doing well with?
Yeah, I think she has a lot of abilities that fit nicely with the dual role of that. One, very good on camera and as a spokesperson for the city and helping to promote why the city's a great place to live, work, do business, and visit. That's going to obviously pay dividends for all of us because you know ultimately you need that champion out there being the face of the city. But she really is a policy person that gets in the weeds too. I think one of the things I admire a lot about her is that she doesn't pretend to know the answer to every complicated question, relies on experts, is happy to pull people around the table and try to dig in and find solutions. And that's the kind of leadership that we need. So I'm very confident that there's a balance between the minutia and the big picture. And you've got to be able to do both things. So there's going to be a lot of people that are supporting that effort. Certainly looks like a very strong city council as well. And the hope is that everyone can get on the same page, pull in the same direction, and we can move things forward. We've got a lot to be happy about, public safety improvements and otherwise, but there's still a lot of work left to be done on basic city services and then there's big picture things, getting the port project done down in St. Bernard Parish for the Port of New Orleans. The new Omni Hotel opportunity at the Convention Center, really a game changer from a competitiveness standpoint. And then the innovation district that Tulane is is seeking to lead, as well as the bio district that is in that same area with the renovation of Charity Hospital that has been empty for 20 years. So a lot of excitement in big picture things, but also a focus on safety and permits and the things that need to be done to have a basically functioning city.
Yeah, if everyone in the state isn't paying attention to the possible transformation and revitalization of Charity Hospital, we're all missing a big chapter in our state's history. History that's still to come. But I mean, this is going to be big if it's able to play out.
Huge opportunity, absolutely.
We got Walt Leger on with us from New Orleans and Company. Get a little update on what's going on right down I-10 from us. I know everybody's looking forward to Paul McCartney at the end of this month, and then I believe Billie Eilish is, like a week later?
Yep. We got a lot of good music coming to you. Early November is Billie Eilish, 2 shows sold out. I'm sure there'll be opportunities. That's November 7th and 8th. Paul McCartney on the 29th. A lot of incredible festivals between now and then with NOLA Funk Fest and the New Orleans Film Fest, Reggae Fest. Obviously, Halloween's around the corner. My kids are pretty fired up about that. And, we've got activities starting this weekend with Boo at the Zoo and Ghost in the Oaks at City Park. Next week, there'll be Crew of Boo Parade. And, of course, Halloween's still a couple weeks away, but it's all gearing up. And that's become a pretty big draw for New Orleans over the last few years. Excited to be welcoming people in. They can experience what we're seeing with this great weather and everything else. Much needed after, dragging through a difficult summer period this year.
How old are your kids?
9 and 7, and I've actually got a third daughter. I've got a third daughter coming October 22nd next week. So we're on baby mode right now. Countdown.
Congratulations! That's awesome. 9 and 7, by the way. That's prime. That's prime trick or treating age right there. That is want to go 3 extra blocks no matter how many blocks you go.
I think we're going trick or treating about 4 times too. I mean, we've got we've got trunk or treat tonight at school. We've got Ghost in the Oaks over the weekend. We'll got regular trick or treating for Halloween and probably another time in there. So it's gotten to be pretty intense, but they love it.
How big is New Orleans? New Orleans is always a tourism draw, and the French Quarter is always a tourism draw. Does it ramp up around Halloween time because of those that believe in hauntings and ghosts?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, there's the data is pretty strong there. Last year, of course, we had Taylor Swift around this time, which added a lot of excitement and tons of visitors. But Halloween and spooky New Orleans has definitely become a big thing. The ghost tours obviously ramp up a bit in the French Quarter. The Crew of Boo parades added some excitement to that. There are some Halloween concerts and other things, and of course some haunted houses and things like that. But the French Quarter certainly takes on a special aura at this time of year, and it's gotten to be pretty big. And people like to dress up when they come to New Orleans in costumes anyway. So Halloween is just a natural fit for taking it to another level.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Walt Leger from New Orleans and Company about a little bit of what's going on around New Orleans. Hey, can we pivot over to the convention scene a little bit, because that's another one that's they're big ticket items for the statewide, not just down in New Orleans, but y'all have a lot coming up over the next 2.5 months.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I mean, really critical component, foundation of the visitor economy here is the tourism, is the convention, conference, and meeting industry. And a couple of weeks ago we had plastic surgeons and landscape architects come in. The next few weeks, we've got Society of Women Engineers, American Heart Association, American Council on Teaching of Foreign Languages, American Anthropological Association, and a whole bunch of other meetings. So through October and November, really strong. And then into the December months, we've got some other meetings on the smaller side. But all these things are, it's exciting to see, that picking up momentum. And then as we go into the new year, keep rolling.
The Heart Association, that's one of the bigger ones for the whole year. I mean, that's a lot of hotel rooms, a lot of plane travel into the city.
Yep, absolutely. Brings people from all over, and a lot of scientific sessions. I remind people that these conferences are so important to the economy, and having these people come in and meet is an honor for our community. When you really think about the scientific resources that they bring in, the evidence that they share, then they go spread that around the country and the world to help make people better and healthier. And share the knowledge that they were able to bring to the table here in New Orleans. It's something that's really special, and I think we want to continue to be a place where people gather to do big things.
A last one before we get you out of here. We got Walt Leger from New Orleans and Company. There's a big announcement coming out about Louisiana being featured in the new Michelin Guide, American South, which I believe is the beginning of next year when that comes out. Tell me about what we're expecting.
Yeah, it's coming out, and it's coming out sooner than that. We've got in Greenville, South Carolina is November 3rd. The announcement will occur.
Okay.
So those kind of they're very much under the radar. Michelin keeps things very low key, but just in the next few weeks here, we'll have a delegation in South Carolina for that announcement. We are aware of a few restaurants that have been contacted, but like I said, they kind of keep that quiet. Our expectations are that there'll be a number of restaurants that are either honored in some way or do receive that coveted Michelin star. What we're also hearing from the community is that because of the competition and the recognition that restaurants across our community and across the state are really trying to pick up their game so that they can compete now and into the future. So I think it's been a great thing to highlight how special the culinary scene is here, how great the restaurants are. We'll see what happens with the actual recognition, but we're optimistic about many restaurants getting elevated globally through this incredible publication.
Yeah, and it's generations worth of work finally getting the recognition it deserves. He's Walt Leger with New Orleans and Company. We'll talk soon.
Take care, Brian. Great to talk to you. Have a good weekend.
You too. You do the same. Needless to say, he's going to have a great weekend. Got a baby on the way. That's awesome. Here's your money now. All right, what's good, y'all? I'm way behind on live reads, dude. That's today has just been like, you just look at the content today. Going back to Gifford Briggs at 6:35, I haven't been able to come up for freaking air.
No.
Like rhetorically, I've been breathing this whole time.
No. Yeah, no, it's been it's been stacked.
We went from Gifford to Higgins, from Higgins to Darryl, from Darryl to Walt. I mean, it's good Lord. Man. Then I got 9:15 after the show. 9:15. I need you to record for me. George Bell from United Way is coming in.
Okay.
Jambalaya jams next week, and I was like, he's like, I'm looking for some time next week. I'm like, dude, next week is stacked up. How early is too early? So I have 6:50 on Monday available. He's like, oof, and I was like, okay, you come in today and record.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Oh. Kim says, I hope they get their first conference win. Talking about Southern. Yeah, me too. Just because Darryl's passion for Coach Graves is important to me. He's a believer. I'm a believer. Well, hey, I had my volume on that whole time. Troy says, what's irrelevant in politics is hypocrisy, but it's so easy to use with sheep. Yeah, I know. That has to be about Donald Trump and his political enemies. Matt says, paving plank has been difficult, but I can't wait until they're done. The roads there have been finished. The roads that have been finished are so nice. Yes, they are. And if they do the LED street lights, it's going to be amazing. We have the LED street lights on Goodwood, and it's working out well. I'll knock out 2 live reads here.
Okay.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh. Stayed up watching the Bengals last night, Bengals and Steelers.
Yeah.
Old man quarterbacks, and then got to work on my show prep after the game.
Oof.
And, yeah, I know. That's why I'm so far behind today. I'm like sleepy time. It's a good game, though. It's worth watching. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers just looks old. So does Joe Flacco, for that matter.
This guy's late 40s? Mid 40s?
Early 40s. 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got a special session coming up right around the corner. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. In fact, we'll talk about it here in a little bit, and then we'll talk about it next hour with State Representative Dixon McMakin. While I've got a quick minute, let me remind you about the folks over at Neurojust, Neurojust. That's how you spell Neurojust. What do they do? Who do they serve? Well, they specialize in something called TMS therapy. TMS therapy is a treatment for anxiety and depression for those who have been therapy resistant. If the sit-down, talk-it-out therapy does not reduce your anxiety or depression, if the prescription drugs are just not a viable option, you don't like the way you feel when you take them, you're seeing diminishing returns, you may have side effects. If either of these situations is the case, check out neurojust.com. What is TMS therapy? Transcranial magnetic stimulation. This is it's growing like wildfire across the nation, but it's honestly in a lot of big cities. A market our size wouldn't normally have TMS. We're lucky that we've got the folks over at Neurojust off Bluebonnet who are doing this. You put on the helmet, it sends magnetic pulses out that regulate mood, basically. They target the areas of the brain that regulate mood. And, oh, by the way, they've got receipts. 80% response rate, 70% remission rate. We're talking full remission there. Learn more at neurojust.com. We are eyeing up a special session coming up on October 23rd, I believe is the first day. Governor Landry calling the session to adjust the calendar for the 2026 election cycle amid the Supreme Court case on the state's second majority black congressional district. The session will start next Thursday. It'll last 22 days. Our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network spoke with Jeremy Alford, publisher of LaPolitics.com, who says the governor set the length to be on the safe side.
I think the governor maybe built in some wiggle room in case any other issues might crop up either during those 3 weeks or in the form of additional proposals from lawmakers.
So the plan is to move the calendar back 30 days, move qualifying back to mid-February, the primary to May 16th, and a runoff, if necessary, to June 27th. Alford says even though there's a Republican supermajority in both houses of the legislature, getting everyone on the same page is not a slam dunk here.
Moving back an entire election calendar isn't an easy thing to do. And it's not known to me whether there's widespread support for that.
Because a big part of moving from jungle primary to closed primary was distancing yourself from the general election, wasn't it? Wasn't that what we were told? You move it up and you have time for wounds to heal and people to get over it. You won't see where when one candidate beats out another in the primary or the jungle primary, you won't see one candidate be more, have their feelings on their shoulder going into the runoff. I remember being told that when we were moving to the closed primaries. By the way, and we're going to get either Liz Merle or Ben Aganaga on next week to talk about their visit to the Supreme Court, who considered their ruling on the constitutionality of the creation of the state's second majority black congressional district. Jeremy Alford notes that if the calendar is not altered, the state would be forced to use the current map for the 2026 election cycle, even if the Supreme Court strikes down the current map.
What the governor and his supporters are trying to do is to buy some time to stop folks from being able to qualify for the next election cycle before this issue of the maps is settled.
We'll talk about this a lot more with Dixon McMakin in our next hour. Speaking of our next hour, it's on the way in just a bit. Before we get you to that next hour, let's remind you about the folks at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website, FlyBTR.com. A lot of folks out there going to be wheels up for Nashville today. A lot of folks out there made their ticket reservations, bought their tickets at FlyBTR.com for that direct flight going to see LSU take on Vanderbilt tomorrow. Flight goes out today, comes back home on Sunday. You know what? If you missed out on the Vandy trip, if you missed out on the Nashville trip, Alabama's the next away trip that they've got you set up for, a direct flight into Birmingham. Learn more about that at FlyBTR.com. Quick break. Hour 3's next. I have to go run around. I got to get up and move. Go for it. Oh, shit, I keep. Oh, I thought you were counting down to the news, and I left it 10 seconds for the ID. I didn't know you meant 10 seconds until the ID. Oh, crappers. Okay, I've got to reject the premise of Darryl's question. That's the problem. He said, "You think black people can't pay 2 cents on sales tax?" It's not about whether they can or they can't. It's about whether or not it will sting. Are you telling me that the median income on Plank Road is the same as the median income on Lakeshore? It's not, and it's not even close. 2 cents hurts more when you make less than $50K a year. You can't in one breath say, well, you think black people can't afford to pay 2 cents sales tax, and then in the very next breath complain that ExxonMobil isn't hiring the people that go through the Brady training. Do I? I thought my mic was on. Well, yeah, no, I'm hashing out arguments in my head. Hashing out arguments in my head.
I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, by the way, did I tell you what Franz did with the guy calling me racist on Twitter?
Oh, he kind of came to your defense, though.
Yeah, but I didn't want him to. I don't want to elevate losers.
Yeah. Yeah, does it make it worse if you have, like...
It puts him in the... Now he's part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Before he was just shouting at clouds. I'm not here for that. Bum, bum, bum. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros. Is it time for your IT to do a 180? They're your business IT partner, 180 Pros. Hour 3 is going to be jam-packed, y'all. As I understand it, we're going to have cheesecake for Foodie Friday, which is awesome. Cheesecake Lab's going to be in the house. State Representative Dixon McMakin coming up in 8 minutes. Before we get to that, though, we're going to have This Day in History presented by 5 Star Printing and Science. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and tell you right now about 5 Star Printing and Science. 271-4096 is the phone number for 5 Star Printing and Science. 271-4096. Who needs 5 Star? Well, listen. If you have a business card, you need 5 Star. If you have brochures, you need 5 Star. If you're a restaurant that needs a menu, you need 5 Star. If you have any kind of branding that you need for your business, they've got you on the merch end, they've got you on the vehicle wrap end, they've got you on the signage end. 271-4096 is the phone number, 271-4096, or printshop5.com. Give Danny and his team a call. Even if you don't know where you want to go yet, they'll collab with you a little bit, help you out, point you in the right direction, get it done right, get it done quickly, get it done accurately. And the fact that they're local makes all the difference here. You call one of those big box store print shops and they screw something up, they really don't care. And especially if you need it on a deadline. Danny and his team take care of you. 271-4096 or printshop5.com. This Day in History. Let's go. I keep scrolling through the photos of what Darryl brought, what Councilman Hurst brought in here.
Yep.
Man, I'm fired up for Plank Road's future. I'm legitimately fired up for Plank Road. I think this could be a thing.
It's exciting.
I have belief that he will get somewhere with this.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Progress.
By the way, have you had Southern Fried Chicken or Southern's Classic Chicken, whatever it's called? Have you had it yet?
No.
Off of Sherwood? The ones that were causing the traffic jam every day, remember?
Right.
And I don't think they're doing traffic jam anymore, but it's still a line.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, I haven't had the opportunity.
So they're open on Sherwood. They're about to open by the Rouses on Florida. And then I guess Plank Road's next.
Okay. Looking forward to that, man. I can always go for some good fried chicken, man. Gosh. But back to this day in history. 1933, Albert Einstein arrives in the U.S. as a refugee from Nazi Germany.
Really?
Yep, today. 1957, the musical film Jailhouse Rock, starring Elvis Presley, premieres in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, Elvis. What a great actor.
Yep.
And by great actor, I mean absolutely horrible.
Come on. 1962, the beginning of Beatlemania. Beatles make their live television debut, appearing on Manchester's local People and Places program, performing Some Other Guy and their new single, Love Me Do.
I'm sorry, you said performing with some other guy?
No, that's the name. Performing Some Other Guy. That's the song. No. Yeah.
I thought
with
like
some other guy.
once they were on the show, the other guests didn't
That's
matter.
it. Didn't matter.
Who else was on the show? I don't care. We had the Beatles.
Yeah. That's all that mattered, right? 1979, Mother Teresa of Calcutta is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yup.
1979, U.S. President Jimmy Carter signs legislation creating the Department of Education.
1979.
1979.
Within my lifetime.
Yes.
The U.S. Department of Education was founded within my lifetime.
Yeah.
We did just fine in this country for 203 years.
There we go.
And then we brought on the Department of Education. And now today, when someone wants to look at possibly disbanding it, we act like it's been here since the beginning.
Right.
We act like we've needed it this whole time. We act like it's been nothing but bureaucratic garbage.
I mean.
Sorry, did I just hop up on a soapbox right there? Little bit.
Little bit.
Little bit.
Just a little bit. Hey, 2005, The Colbert Report, hosted by Stephen Colbert, first airs on TV. So there's
Back
that.
when he was funny.
Yeah. My, how things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on this day?
I didn't even open the website, dude. I
okay.
apologize. I'm working on something else in the meanwhile.
No, you're completely fine. All good. Moving on to birthdays here. The late and great Norm Macdonald today.
Aw.
Norm Macdonald. Yep. Let's see who else we got today. Marshall Mathers himself, Eminem as well today.
Okay.
Let's see who else we got. Alan Jackson as well.
All right.
Let's see Wyclef Jean as well. Man, I hadn't heard from him in a while.
Yeah.
Didn't he eventually become like a? What did he do? He went somewhere overseas, right?
Who?
Wyclef Jean.
Did he? I don't know.
Oh man. Hey, George Wendt as well.
No.
Yeah, that's it. And Ziggy Marley as well.
Okay. And we got more. We got a lot more, dude. Yeah, we got a lot more. Evil Knievel.
Evil Knievel today? What?
Mike Judge.
What was that? Yeah. Oh, okay. I see where you're going. Okay.
Yeah. Mike Judge's birthday is today, as his, hate to even bring it up, John Rocker.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to deaths here. I don't really have many other than Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Okay.
Tennessee
Why not?
Ernie.
That's fine. You forced me to open the page. I'll do it. It's fine.
I know, right?
Here we go.
And you might find someone and be like, oh, yeah, it's
no.
guy.
No.
That people would know, you know?
No, I know. It's like household names like Gustav Kirchhoff.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
we all celebrate that German physicist, don't we?
Right. Exactly.
That was he was the chemist.
You see? Yeah, it's reaching.
Oh, wow. No, hang on. We just
Hold
stumbled
on.
across something cool here. Gustav Kirchhoff died on this day in 1887. He was a German physicist who, with the chemist Robert Bunsen, firmly established the theory of spectrum analysis.
Okay.
All right.
Hey.
Shout out,
We could do
Gustav.
that. There you go.
Uh-huh. Who else we got?
Good stuff.
Well, I'll stumble across another one. We'll get another good one here.
Let's see.
Nope.
Right.
Nope. You know what? I should have quit while I was ahead. I was 1 for 1. Tried to step back in the batter's box and.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. How about J. Bruce Ismay died on this day? You know,
Okay.
You know Jay Bruce? Good old Jay Bruce?
I see him right here.
All right.
So
He was a British businessman who was chairman of the White Star Line and who survived the sinking of the company's ship, the Titanic.
yeah.
All right. I bet you in the movie Titanic, his character came across as a real D-bag.
Well, actually, J. Bruce Ismay was played by actor Jonathan Hyde in that movie.
See?
I can't say I remember his role, but yeah, probably.
There you
You
go.
might be right about that.
All right. National days.
You know what? It's National Pasta Day.
Oh.
Foodie
All right.
Friday, maybe, somewhere in there.
Well, Foodie Friday's about cheesecake today.
Yeah.
We're going Cheesecake Lab for Foodie Friday.
All right.
So,
Clean your virtual desktop day.
We could go with that one. Which one do I have? I don't. It's just I'm scrolling through so fast I'm going past all of it. I got my computer. Yeah, National Pasta Day is the one I got. All right, we'll stick with that one. It is 8:15 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Let me get this in before Dixon comes on. Got to remind you about the folks over at Breck. Breck.org is their home base online, B-R-E-C, Breck.org. Your city, parishes, parks system is basically what we're talking about here. And one of the things that I love about Breck is the fact that they have to be all things to all people. And not everything's going to be for you. Not everything's going to be for me. But somewhere in the middle, you're going to find all of our interests over there at Breck. Highland Road Park on a Saturday morning in the fall is just a glorious thing. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow, the cross-country meet for all the kiddos is going to be out at the battlefield. So tomorrow, if you go out to Highland Road Park, you're going to see rugby players. You're going to see people walking their dogs. You're going to see people getting their jog on a little bit. You're going to see people playing frisbee golf, playing tennis, playing pickleball. It all comes together in one location. And if you look at other locations, it comes together there too. And, oh, by the way, they're looking to improve on a daily basis, which is why they've set up the rapid response ticket system. Learn more at breck.org. Quick break, coming back. Let's talk about the upcoming special session next. Yo, man. I don't know. So does it mold or mildew or whatever?
I might look into that 1,000 musician thing.
You should.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm a musician. I'll play guitar and bass. I can get by on drums if I have to. I wonder what song is. What song is it?
Foo Fighters.
Oh, really?
Foo Fighters are featured.
They did Learn to Fly one year. I saw one video before. Huh. Foo Fighters.
Awesome. Good to meet you. You seen Dixon McMakin? He's up.
He's somewhere. He's somewhere around, yo.
There he is. Always hit the 100,000 watt mothership when you stop by.
He's 100,000. What are you, 24?
I don't remember. It's under 50. I know that. It's over 10. 819 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Time to welcome back to the studio State Representative Dixon McMakin, the the new voice of Tiger Stadium. How's that? How are you? How are you this morning?
Hey, we're doing great. We're 4-0 in Tiger Stadium, so as long as the team keeps playing at home, I like our chances. Let's just play every game at home. But, Brian, I got to tell you something before we begin. I was driving up here listening to you. My mama is from Memphis, and so us Memphinites take great offense you calling Elvis the worst performer in history. Is that what he said?
Not what I said.
I couldn't quite hear you.
I said he was a terrible actor.
Terrible actor. So if he's a terrible actor, if that's the standard we have, a young man grew up in poverty in Tupelo, moves to Memphis, his dad goes to jail. If he's terrible, then you're terrible. I'm just letting you know.
I am a terrible actor.
We've had 47 presidents of this country, Brian. One king. Elvis Aaron Presley. There we go. Let's get back to business.
Are the No Kings protests about Elvis?
Yeah, no shot.
Okay, I will say this definitively. The greatest stage performer in the history of ever. I'm a huge Elvis fan. Do not get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. But Elvis on stage versus Elvis on screen, completely different things.
That's kind of what Jailhouse Rock was. It was just him on screen doing the performance. Let's go back to business. Sorry about that. TCB, taking care of business, baby.
Yes. We've got a lot of ground to cover on that front. Actually, there's one more thing. I need to apologize to you. I went to my first Catholic high football game. And it was not good for Catholic. I went to homecoming.
Yeah.
First of all, what are y'all doing scheduling a really good team for homecoming?
Well, I mean, we're going to make the playoffs, so pre-district schedule, we want to get as much tough competition as we can to prepare the Bears for success November and December. So that's what we're doing. Tonight, district play at Central.
Okay.
Our former head coach, David Semino Jr., brought us a state title. He's won a state title at Central now as well, so it'll be a great battle up in Central.
Okay.
Wade Evans, I got to call Mayor Wade Evans and see what the bet's going to be.
He's
probably Piccadilly or something. I don't know,
Not saying the selection's limited, are you?
No.
Anyway, no. The Catholic looked good. It just didn't pan out on homecoming.
Yeah, tough play. We ran a 2-point conversion to win the game there. Didn't quite work it out, but we were there. And, hey, you play tough competition. You get better as you go, and we're excited for tonight.
All right, moving forward. October 23rd, special session being called in. Way too early to start talking about what bills are going to be filed, but we know what they're going to be about.
Yeah, absolutely. So the governor called us in. We knew this would happen. We just had Louisiana v. Calais at the Supreme Court, a 2.5-hour. I know you've talked about a lot of guests, but as a lawyer myself, a 2.5-hour hearing on a rehearing at the U.S. Supreme Court is so rare. I don't think people realize how rare that is. So we are expecting as a state, as a legislature, them to come in, make some changes. There was some thought, hey, let's come in, let's redraw the map with maybe some conditions. But I think everyone realized that's probably not the best route to do because we don't quite know what's going to happen. But we are talking about let's push the dates back. Let's give us more time. So hopefully the Supreme Court can rule. We know what they're going to rule on. I have a lot of great mentors at the Capitol. And Bo Boye, I'm on House and Governmental. I think he will be one of the people leading the charge of this as he runs the group that handles these bills. Mm-hmm. So I think between him, Big, Darryl, all my mentors and great people up there, there's going to be a plethora of ideas. But it's really going to be very simple. Move the dates back, have an appropriations bill to pay for it if needed. We already have the money for the election. We're just pushing it back, so shouldn't need too much. But that's the plan, and then come back potentially in another special or in the beginning of the regular. Do it as well.
So is the plan now to just not even look at the map right now? I mean, it's because until you know definitively from the Supreme Court what the directive is, there would be no use in trying to entertain, you can't pass something contingent, right? You can't say, we're going to adopt this map contingent upon the Supreme Court's verbiage.
Well, not exactly like that, but you can pass a map with contingencies if you want. If certain rulings happen and things are said, you can do it. It would just be very lengthy to do it that way.
Yeah.
And all the ideas that want to go in there, the debate on all that when you don't quite know.
Mm-hmm.
So we think collectively, a leadership group, that it's better to go in, move the dates back, give us more time. Hopefully the Supreme Court will rule. They've already heard this case. They heard it in March.
Right.
So you got to think they hopefully have already written some of their briefs, some of their rulings, and know how the vote's going to go down.
Now, let's talk about the need to move the dates back because it is going to be contingent upon a new map. I mean, if you're moving the dates back and going to have the same map, then what was the point?
The point, if you do that, is to at least give you an opportunity to change something if needed. That's the point.
Yeah.
And then we also, we gave ourselves a long runway there when we originally set those dates.
Oh, yeah.
So to even have room to move, that you kind of put that in place already, thinking you might have to change. This is the first time going back to closed primaries. So we knew we might want some time and things like that. So now we put the time in there. Now we're going to use it. And I think for the better, we need to get out there as legislators, as the governor getting out there, Attorney General, Secretary of State, get out there and educate people of what's happening, why we're doing it, because it will be a little different when you go to the polls in 2026.
Wait, different meaning with the closed primary?
With the closed primary.
Yeah.
Will be a little different.
Well, and a big part of the closed primary was to create distance between the general election. When we had the jungle primary and everybody was on the ballot at the same time, there was a feeling that those that lost could be sore for a little while and not get on board to help up their own party in the runoff. You create that distance with the closed primary, not to mention get your best candidate from your party, as you know, that's obviously job number one. But to create that distance right there, because time heals all wounds. By pushing back closed primaries, are we running the risk of opening up those wounds?
We're still going to be further away than we would have been in our jungle primaries. I think that'll be okay, but that's a great point, right? When you have the candidates, you take a beating. If you've never been through politics, you take a beating out there on the campaign trail, and you do need time to heal. You do need time to forgive, even if you're not the one doing it or your opponent's not the one doing it. You almost assume that it is coming from their camp. Believe me, been in that boat, know what it's like. But you got to get over that and get back to what's best for your district, your area, and the state.
Yeah, and it's very easy to sit on the sidelines and say just toughen up. But when you're the one in the crosshair, the rhetorical crosshairs, then it does change things a great deal. Are there any other ideas being floated right now for this? I know it was called yesterday. But are there any other ideas being floated right now for things that we want to tweak?
Yeah, you saw in the call it was just one item. Right. And I think specifically the governor did that on previous calls. He had a very broad call with lots of agenda items, and you saw a lot of bills come in. You have to be germane to the call. And that was one of the reasons he did. It's a one-page call. That's it. It's one page, and the dates are there to set up if we don't suspend any rules. That's how long it takes to get a normal bill through the process. It takes that many days with all the notices and the layovers and things like that. So without a suspension, it's a singular call, and I think it'll be I'm hopeful for hopefully only two bills that we do. Obviously, the date bill and the appropriations bill. We will see, though, if they want to add some more, but as of now, that's the plan.
You say it's one page, but with the letterhead and the giant J in his signature, it's really like a third of a page.
Yeah, it's kind of like people when you used to increase the size of your periods in class to get a little more pages out of your essays you needed and things like that.
That's why we double spaced, to be sure. We had State Representative Dixon McMakin in with us. If we could, take a couple minutes to look ahead. I love getting a sneak preview for what big ideas are out there for next year. Not specific bill-wise. I mean, we don't start to see that until after Washington Mardi Gras when it starts to come together. But big ideas for next year. What's the thinking at the end of the legislative session till about now for maybe things we didn't get done, maybe things we need to tackle?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's always a lot of gobbledygook out there when it comes to bills and bills ideas after session and before sessions. I think one thing you're going to continue to see us go back to, obviously big ones, tort reform and tax reform. Yeah. I mean, that's the ones we've put bills in place. Was at a great event last night with Senator Franklin Foyle. We were talking about the session, and a lot of the people there were asking us, well, how do we know? Is it working? What's going on? We say, well, look, we just did the session. The bills got in, they're filed, and usually they start either on the governor's signature right then and there, or August 1st is when a lot start. Even more start January 1st.
Right.
So you need to let those bills hit, find the data, and develop, and then go back and look at it. Of course, we had a great tax session last year. The citizens voted down a lot of those measures. We were still able to get some of them through.
Right.
But, we are down to a 3% rate right now, which is lowest amongst states in the South that have a rate, right?
Yeah.
We still want to get to zero.
Well,
There's a goal to get to zero, and it takes time to develop those. We just saw the joint budget Thursday, talked about how we have $577 million extra dollars now. So we know that the collections are coming in. We got to spend that money in a certain way. Let's pay off more debt. Let's free up some money in the future. If we do enough of that, maybe we continue to lower that rate as well for a lot of people.
So is the want to continue on the path towards no income tax that soon? Is it? I mean, are we? Because I thought it was like Mississippi's taking longer to do it. They're stretching things out a good bit. Is the want to get it done quicker and pass them up?
I mean, I had a bill last year that said it would have been done in 2040.
Right.
And we would have taken out 20 basis points a year for 15 years, and we're done.
Right.
Couldn't even get a hearing on that one. But I thought that was a great plan because people can plan. That's why I thought, and I'll bring that bill back next 2027. I'll bring that bill back. You only do it in fiscal sessions. But no, the want is there. We see the competition. I was just in Houston on Tuesday talking to some business owners and leaders over there in Houston for my firm, of course, not on a political trip per se, but they talk about that. They talk about the perception of when you move to Texas, you just know you're not going to have it. Are you hitting on it on other places? Of course you are. But you have that feeling of the zero. And that's where we think a lot of people would come to Louisiana, bring their business here develop here, and then more taxes come in as well if we can have them that feeling. So the want is there, the desire is there, and we see. Look, it's a whale of an idea to get across the line, but we hope that with the leadership we have, or Governor Landry and all the Speaker DeVilliers, Cameron Henry, all that group we have, Julie Emerson, I know been on your show.
Mm-hmm.
She does a great job with the tax stuff as well. We'll try to get there. I know I'm in. I'm a yes vote. Anytime we can lower it, I'll be ready to go.
Looking forward to October 23rd. You mentioned it's going to take the full time just to get one or two things done.
If we don't suspend the rules, it will be. We can suspend some of the rules for the layover time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think normally in the House, we do that all the time where you don't have to wait 3 days it sits there on a desk, really is kind of theoretically what it does. We can suspend that, take some days off. So Thursday we come in. I would think by the following Friday, we should have it wrapped up.
He is State Representative Dixon McMakin. Thank you so much for a couple minutes.
Appreciate you, Brian.
All right, we got Foodie Friday coming up next. We're going to have some cheesecake right after news, traffic, and weather on Talk 107.3. Oh, my word.
I got in all of my
107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're getting to Foodie Friday in just a quick minute. Do need to remind you about the folks over at 180 Pros, 180pros.com. Who is 180 Pros? Well, great new partner here at Talk 107.3 FM. They're sponsoring this. They bring in our studio every day. And if you visit 180pros.com, you can learn a heck of a lot more about what they do. They are your business's IT partner. Now, a lot of times an IT company will call themselves a provider. Not with 180 Pros. They are your partner. They are here for your needs from top to bottom. And some of the things that they offer are really remarkable. Take a look at your current provider and the bill that you get from them. That nickel and dimed line item invoice that hits you up for every little thing that they might have to do. Oh, I had to take, we visited this time, we printed this out, we did this, we did that. They'll give you a line item bill that will just drive you insane. 180 Pros, because they're your partner, you just get a one-page bill. Simplified billing. Not going to nickel and dime you throughout. And also, oh, by the way, guaranteed response time. If you call them, if you call them before, like, if they're calling it quitting time, obviously no. But if you're calling before quitting time, same-day service. Now, can't guarantee they'll resolve the problem in that time, but they will respond in that time. Give them a call, 225-330-2200, 225-330-2200, or visit them online at 180pros.com. All right, time for Foodie Friday. Let's go. Stepping away from the beef today. The beef is what's for dinner, but we're talking about what's for dessert. We've got Mitchell Moore in with us from the Cheesecake Lab. How are you, sir?
Hello, everybody. I am great.
Glad to have you in today. We never do that. We're normally on, normally on the entrees. So hitting dessert is going to be
important,
fun.
Right?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Especially after a nice hearty meal, to be sure. All right. Tell us everything about the Cheesecake Lab.
Cheesecake Lab, founded right here in Baton Rouge. We have been open 22 days. So we are
what?
Newborns. Yeah, 22 days.
How did we find you this quickly?
I'm amazing.
That is awesome.
The cheesecake is amazing.
Very well. And we've got some samples in here. We're going to show them off to our Facebook audience in just a little bit, and we'll try them coming up 10 minutes from now when we hit our break on air. By the way, we're always on Facebook Live, courtesy of the folks of Lake Urgent Care. So if you wanted to get the visual of what's going on here, you'll want to check us out there. All right, open 22 days ago.
Yeah.
What put you on this path? What made you want to open something so specific?
I owned restaurants and bakeries up in Jackson, Mississippi, and COVID happened and we sold everything and moved down here. Mm-hmm. And I wanted cheesecake. And I was looking around who had cheesecake in town. And you have to basically go to a restaurant and spend $10 for a single slice of cheesecake. Mm-hmm. That wasn't what I wanted. And then I saw, Nothing Bundt Cakes or Crumble or things like that were specialized in one area. And I thought, I could do that with cheesecake. And here we are.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about cheesecake itself, because it can be very, very versatile. It can mean a million different things. You can
absolutely,
when it comes to plain cheesecake, which I like a plain cheesecake, and then I really, really like when it starts to get dressed up.
Yeah.
But it's very simple and very complex at the same time.
Yeah. Well, because we call it cheesecake and it's not cake,
right?
But we think of it as cake. It's actually custard. And so, if you treat it like a custard, you will have a much better cheesecake, a much better product.
Okay. Can we talk about making them for just a minute? Because
sure.
A big part of Foodie Friday is upping your game in your kitchen, upping your game on your grill and whatnot. And cheesecake is something that can be very intimidating for folks to try and make.
Absolutely.
Walk us through just simple process, the 10,000-foot view, and then I'll kind of dive in with a question here or two along the way.
Sure. So you can find any recipe that you want to try. Most of them start with what's called creaming, which is mixing together the cream cheese and the sugar. That is really the most important part. If you do that too little, you're going to have a very dense cheesecake. Mm-hmm. If you do that too much, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter, and then you're going to have a too fluffy cheesecake that will crack.
Okay.
And so there's a medium point that you want to reach, and that really is just through experience. And then you add whatever, sour cream or eggs or any of that, vanilla, lemon rind, whatever else you need to add for that particular recipe. Once it has incorporated the amount of air, you really don't want to overmix it anymore. So the creaming part is important, but then you stop, and after that, you add in eggs, you add in vanilla, but you just mix it until it's mixed, and then call it done.
Okay, so the other ingredients don't go in until
right. Yeah, typically.
Okay. We're talking with Mitchell Moore from the Cheesecake Lab. A little bit about making cheesecake, but a little bit about where you could take it after that. How wide open is the variety here?
Well, so currently what we do is we have 4 flavors. Well, we have 5. We've got our original, and then we have 4 flavored cheesecakes, and one drops off every Friday and a new one comes on. And then the next Friday, one of those drops off and a new one comes on. So
wait, when you say flavored, you mean within the cheesecake itself?
Within the cheesecake itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we looking at right now? What are the 4 right now?
So today is New Flavor Friday. We took away the banana pudding, but don't worry, it will be coming back. And we brought in peanut butter cheesecake starting today. So this week we have s'mores cheesecake, peanut butter cheesecake, caramel apple crumble cheesecake, and red velvet.
And that's built into the cheesecake. That's not talking about the toppings that are on top.
Yeah, we have toppings, but those are not toppings. Those are flavors.
Okay. How within that variance, how easy or hard is it to add, additional flavors or different additional varieties without losing the base of what is a cheesecake?
It's not difficult. Anybody could do it. You just have to not be intimidated and not overwork it. I know it seems like I'm saying don't do this, but don't do that either. But there is just a point, and you want to work it to incorporate flavors, but then stop.
We're talking with Mitchell Moore from Cheesecake Lab, which, by the way, is on Jefferson Highway. Where at on Jefferson Highway?
We are behind Cece's. Down the sidewalk from La Cantea and Eliza.
Yeah, y'all are right there by Eliza.
Yeah.
Love me some Eliza.
Yeah, me too.
That's good people over there,
absolutely.
By the way. Wait, y'all moved in where, who was there before?
Rent-A-Nerd.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Very good. Oh, very conveniently located. Super off of Jefferson Highway. When you talk about cheesecake and narrowing it down to, wanting to specialize in just that, was that like something that you've had a passion for a long time?
Yes, that was how I actually started owning bakeries and restaurants. I got married in 2006, and I started a cheesecake company where I wholesaled to local restaurants in Jackson. And we grew that to about 43 restaurants across the central part of the state. And then I saved up my money, and a historical bakery called Campbell's in Jackson became available, and we bought that, and then we opened up another Campbell's, and then another, and then a restaurant, and we kept on going. So cheesecake for me was really where it all started.
Very cool stuff. Do you have a favorite?
I do. Pumpkin pie cheesecake.
Okay. Well, that would be the right season for that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It comes out next Friday, and it is my absolute favorite.
All right. Already looking forward to pumpkin pie cheesecake as we get on to Halloween and then into the holiday season. That sounds like a right match right there. Now let's talk toppings, because, a lot of folks just associate cheesecake as being, you have the cheesecake right there, and you can make it whatever you want by adding on top of it, not necessarily baking into it. Walk me through a little bit about process. Let's start with, the turtle.
You got it. So you come into Cheesecake Lab and you order turtle cheesecake. We will take our original cheesecake, and then we've got all of the toppings in front of us. We'll put fresh chopped pecans on it. We'll put a homemade caramel sauce on it, then a chocolate sauce on it, and then box it up, and out the door you go.
A lot of folks just naturally associate fruits, like fresh fruits,
Sure.
and a glaze to go along with that. In doing that, it gets too narrow, too fast for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit spoiled, but like picking one versus the other. I mean, is there like something that's more popular?
Strawberry. Strawberry is always the most popular. For us, after the pumpkin pie comes out, the next week is white chocolate raspberry. Raspberry is always popular, especially with white chocolate. But strawberry still is the undisputed king.
Is there something that goes into like whether or not that fruit has to have a certain level of tartness to it to pair well with the cheesecake?
Not necessarily, because you can do everything from on one end key lime to on the other end pineapple. And those fruits are very, very different, opposite ends of the spectrum as far as sweetness goes.
Okay.
But they both would go really well with the richness of the cheesecake. So,
and this is one of the parts of the cheesecake that I really appreciate is the fact that it's that versatile.
Right.
If you wanted to make it pair with something like I'll go super sweet all the time. Like you pair it with a turtle. Pair it with a caramel glaze, something, or if you wanted to go the other route, go raspberry. Raspberry super tart, key lime super tart. Like it can adapt to either one of those.
Right. It's the magic of cheesecake.
Now, does that go into the original recipe? Like when you know what you're putting onto it, does that affect your level of like go back to that creaming process? And maybe if you're going sweet on top, do you lessen up on the sugar end on the front end?
No, I lessen up on specific ingredients. Yeah, sugar, there's different amounts of sugar for different ones. But the creaming process for me is always the same.
Okay.
I want the precise amount of air so that my cheesecakes are not dense. They are light, and yet they are not fluffy. Cheesecake, I don't think, should be fluffy. But it should be right in the perfect Goldilocks
Is
spot.
that the hardest part of it? Is hitting that just right area in between?
Yes, that for me it has been. Especially this at Cheesecake Lab, we've got a new mixer, we've got a new oven. I had to adjust the recipe for the specific type of oven that I have and the size mixer that I have and all of that.
I'm being told that I didn't ask you about the crust in the making of it. So we got to go back to that part of it. Making the crust, how important of a role is that and how difficult is it?
That's an easy part, but it is important because, and it's so, the crust also is so versatile. You can do crushed pretzels with butter. We typically do.
That really?
Crushed pretzels on a key lime cheesecake will knock your socks off.
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
Let's go.
So we typically use graham cracker. We haven't gotten, this is like literally day 22 for us. So give me some time and I will have other crust flavors. But for right now, we use graham crackers and butter. We don't use margarine. I am an all butter kind of guy.
All right, last one before. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to ask this on the back end of the break because we got to talk size and how it affects the cooking process. But on air, we're going to Your Money Now. On air, we're going to check traffic on Facebook Live. About to pig out and dig in. Cheesecake Lab's in the house for Foodie Friday. We'll continue next. All right, which one? You show them off, and then you tell me which one to dive in on first.
Totally your choice. The turtle is the most popular as far as topped cheesecakes, and the caramel apple crumble is the most popular among flavors. So either of those would be good. She found me. That's how y'all found me. I don't know. But I'm happy about it. I can tell you that much. 22? Yesterday was 3 weeks. And something happened Monday. We blew up. I don't know what happened, but we did double on Monday what we had done on Saturday. And so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, I beat my entire sales from last week. So something has happened. I don't know. Some critical point has been hit.
Words getting out?
I think so, yeah. Which is what you want, but it just means 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. days.
All right, I'm going to try the s'mores one first.
Do it.
And by the way, Sally and Russell over at Eliza, I've known them for well over a decade now.
Yeah, they're great. and their food is great. That's, you know.
Well, he's got the training for that. I want to say he was at Commanders.
Oh, yeah, he definitely does that.
A little bit of the marshmallow. Oh, look at that thing bust up like that. And that's chocolate cheesecake right there?
That's chocolate cheesecake.
Sweet shit.
Oh, I didn't silence my phone. That's a good thing nobody called me. Yeah, that one. That's that's the business right there. People love turtle.
Oh, wow.
I know. Like I said, I can't do much, but I can cook and talk. I like talking.
I like that about you. That was an easy segment right there. Let me reach over because I'm going to try one more. I know Settle's going to try two, but
Yeah, banana pudding. Banana pudding is gone now. Yesterday was its last day, so you got one of the last 4 available.
that's a real chunk of banana in there.
Yeah. So I freeze the bananas, and then I thaw the bananas. And you know how fruit gets mushy once it's thawed.
Yeah.
And then we cut them open, squeeze them into the batter, and then we add banana extract. Because I tried to not add banana extract, and everybody was like, it's good, but it's just not banana-y. And I added banana extract, and they're like, oh, that's fantastic. It tastes like banana pudding. I'm like, yeah, because that's fake banana flavor that you love.
Right.
So, but people love what they love. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to sell
That's
it to
the
them.
winner right there. That's all right.
I had a donut and breakfast taco place in Jackson, and we were a scratch place. So we made all of our donuts from scratch, icings from scratch, fillings from scratch, tortillas from in-house. I mean, the whole,
Well, there's a lot of
that.
crossover there to your toppings.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of the similar world.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had like 52 flavors that we got through before COVID. So
Nanner Lou Payne asked on Facebook, do you make any savory cheesecakes?
not yet.
Okay.
Like I said, 22 days. Give me a minute.
Yeah, give you a little room to run here.
The next thing coming out is gluten-free. It's still probably 2 or 3 weeks away. I hope to have it by Halloween. But we'll have a gluten-free cheesecake that we just always keep a few of so people can come in and get that topped however they'd like.
Monty Moore, best bakery in the state for 9+ years in a row.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Okay.
I mean,
No big deal, right?
you know, I can't do much, but I can cook. That's what I'll always come back to.
Six o'clock this evening, Ken Trahan's original prep football report coming your way on Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. 5 solid hours of scores, of reports, of updates, taking you to each and every corner of the state and every town in between. Ken Trahan's original prep football report, 6 to 11, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. You are listening to Mornings with Brian Haldane, coming to you live from the 180 Pros studios, where, oh my goodness, got to dive in during the break. Our guy Mitchell Moore from Cheesecake Lab, which you will find on Jefferson Highway, right by La Contea and Eliza, back behind that Hancock Whitney over there. You brought in 8 different cheesecakes to sample. I'm not going to get to all of them. I will.
I've got confidence in you.
Well, we're going to have our sales department down here to come sample in a little while. Watch.
They'll descend.
Yeah, I'm not saying vultures out loud, but so I want to start with just to kind of review what we've tried here. When you talked about that density being just right in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Nailed it. I mean, that is so. And just stepping away or stepping back to the process of making cheesecake, that's got to be the hardest part. Is that where most folks go wrong?
That is. I think so. I think most cheesecakes are undermixed, so they're dense. And you can prevent that just by leaving it alone. Just let it go. Let it mix. Set a timer, 7-8 minutes, something like that, maybe even 10.
Just don't tinker.
Just don't tinker with it.
It's not your fantasy football roster.
Exactly. You can go back and pause it and scrape the bottom, but then let it go.
Fair enough. So the density is just absolute perfection. Now, the way it's, I started with the s'mores one, which is a chocolate cheesecake.
Right.
The chocolate pops instantly.
Thank you.
Instantly, it comes to the forefront because I'm going in expecting that traditional cheesecake flavor a little bit, and when it's altered just the slightest bit, it makes all the world of difference right there.
Yeah.
And then you've got the marshmallow and the graham cracker on top that are the perfect complement as well. But it's the chocolate within the cheesecake that I think kind of like just takes over to be the star of that show.
That is a special dark chocolate cocoa that we get.
Okay.
Comes in from New Orleans. So, I'm a scratch baker. I don't understand why you would want to be a baker and make things from mixes. So I believe in making it.
We got 2 minutes left on air. We're going to stick around on Facebook Live for another minute or two after that if we run out of time. I tried the banana pudding one. That's going to be my favorite. I could look at the other ones out there and say, y'all are going to be second place here. Because I also tried the turtle, and the banana pudding to me exceeds the turtle. And you were telling me the turtle's the biggest seller.
Yeah, turtle is the best seller among topped cheesecakes. Banana pudding and caramel apple crumble. You got to try that before the salespeople.
I will. Yeah.
Those are our two biggest sellers among flavored cheesecakes.
Okay. So the banana pudding one, real chunks of banana in there.
Absolutely, real banana.
Give the audience the same secret you gave me. If we could peel back the curtain a little bit for getting those real chunks of banana in there the right way.
So we take bananas, we let them over ripen. That develops the sugar inside. Then we freeze them overnight. The next day we thaw them out. And when fruit thaws, with strawberries or blueberries, it gets mushy, it gets juicy. So we cut them open and squeeze all of that goodness into the cheesecake.
And it comes out to absolute perfection. And when you do taste that chunk of banana in there, I mean, that's very vivid connection to memories just of banana pudding itself.
Thank you.
The turtle cheesecake, you already spoke on his behalf. It was wonderful. We are wrapping up on air. I want to keep you around on Facebook Live for a couple of other tips and tricks and whatnot, because what we have here in studio is individual servings of cheesecake rather than those big ones you'd cut up into slices. So we're going to talk about that on air. Stick around. Moon Griffon's coming up next. And we will be back at it on Monday on Facebook Live. A little bit more with Mitchell from the Cheesecake Lab, which is on Jefferson Highway, right there by La Cantea. We will see y'all on Monday. Got a full slate already lined up. We'll talk to you then. Facebook Live, stick around.
I dig it.
All right. So we're still on with the Facebook Live audience and
Excellent.
the YouTube Live audience. So let's talk a little bit about prep time and whatnot, because if folks are making their own cheesecakes, these are obviously individual servings.
Right.
I'm hoping.
Yes.
I could destroy one of those. I could destroy 3 of those probably.
Right.
But that is for the that's not meant to be shared overall.
Correct.
But when you have the big cheesecake, how does it affect game plan? How does it affect cooking time and the whole thing?
So large cheesecakes, what I recommend is cooking them in a water bath. Also, we call it a bain-marie in restaurants. But take a cake pan. You don't need a springform pan, just a regular cake pan. Put your crust in there, bake it for 10 minutes, let it cool, put in your cheesecake filling, and then in your oven, put a larger pan with boiling water in it and put your cake pan with cheesecake into that pan and then cook it probably 2.5 hours at 300 degrees, long and low. It's like a brisket.
Okay.
So cheesecake is a custard, and custards are supposed to be gently baked for a long time. although most custards are small. But so bake it long and low. Think of it as a brisket. It needs that amount of time to set.
What does the water do? I mean, because I always think of like like a double boiler when you're melting something.
Yeah.
You want it to melt evenly.
Water evaporates at 212 degrees.
Mhm.
So your cheesecake can't get hotter than 212 degrees because it's being surrounded by 212 degrees.
Okay.
And so that evens out. And so, an oven goes up and then it turns off and then it goes down a little bit and it turns back on and it goes up. And that's an oven cycling.
Right.
But the water doesn't. The water stays at 212 the entire time. And so it evens out the baking of the custard. It prevents hot spots. All of the water is the exact same temperature, no matter where it is. And so that even heat all around the cheesecake is what gives you a great custardy cheesecake.
Very, very good stuff. Before we get you out of here, let's talk a little bit about what else is on the menu. I mean, do y'all specialize in the single serve? Do you go big? What do we do?
We do. I think currently, let me back up. Currently, what we sell are individual cheesecakes.
Okay.
You walk in the door, you order on a kiosk, whatever you would like, and we have you out within a couple of minutes. I am considering doing full-size cheesecakes for the holidays by special order.
Okay.
But again, this is day 22, so I need a little time. But that's what I'm considering, is doing special order full cheesecakes for the holidays.
So if we're doing individual ones right now, bring it back to that water usage. How many cheesecakes do you have in per, or is it one at a time, really?
Whatever 15 times 7 is, that's what I can bake at a time.
Okay.
I don't know what that math is, but that's what I can do.
If I got that answer right, I'm going to be really impressed. 15
me
times
too.
7. I don't think it's 105.
Let's
Shit,
see.
it's 105.
Hey,
Well,
nice.
see? Get Dixon back in here, okay? That's St. Paul's versus Catholic right there. It's the reason they don't call it Matholic. All right. We got to get you out of here, man. I greatly, greatly appreciate a couple minutes. I greatly appreciate you sharing a couple tips along the way.
Of course.
Y'all, the cheesecake is phenomenal. It is beyond compare. Go see Mitchell and indulge, to be sure. Oh, wait. No. Am I supposed? No. Let me try the apple before we get out.
Oh, yeah. Definitely try the apple.
Duh.
So that has right up there, that has a graham cracker crust, and then it has an apple pie filling made with cubed apples, then cheesecake on top, and a homemade cinnamon streusel topped with caramel. So it's got quite a lot going on. Make sure you dig down to get the apple. Look at that thing of beauty.
You guys may have already answered this, but Renee asked, do you have to order ahead of time or can you walk in?
You can just walk in right off the street. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Closed Sunday.
Oh, the special part about this, once you dig down,
Yeah.
that variance in color it shows up. The visual of this thing is amazing. I can't wait for the flavor. And did I see, is that Heath Bar?
Heath Bar and caramel. And Reese's. We've got Reese's as well.
Dude, say no more. I'm a big peanut butter dude.
Peanut butter cheesecake is coming out today. I was there at 5 a.m. baking it, so it'll be ready at 10.
Ooh.
And I've got grape
go.
jelly as one of our toppings now. So we added that in, obviously, for the peanut butter. And it'll go away once the peanut butter leaves in 3 weeks. But
there are so many variances of flavor in this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on in that
How
one.
is this not number one?
Because this is so good, that's the only way that's not number one.
Okay. I mean, but there's so many complementary parts to this all at once. It makes it so much more complex.
So we created this, me and the guy that I work with, Nathan, we created this the day before we opened. I wanted one more flavor. I wanted something apple or something fall-y. And we made up like 7 or 8 different versions with different amounts of apple and no streusel and cinnamon in the streusel and no cinnamon in this streusel. And that one was like far and away better than all the other versions. They all paled in comparison. So.
There's not a lot. There's no cinnamon there, is there?
Yeah. In the
It's
streusel,
very,
there is.
very, very faint. I don't
Right.
even- it doesn't pop.
Yeah, because you don't want to. I don't like hitting people in the face with flavor.
Right.
Flavor to me is layered and varied, and it should complement each other. Not, hey, I'm a cinnamon. Listen to me, guys.
Well, but contrarily, the chocolate in the s'mores one, it does. The chocolate pops to the top.
It does, but it's a chocolate cheesecake.
Right.
So if it didn't pop, then it would
Then what
be
are we doing?
cheesecake that kind of tasted chocolatey.
Right.
So certain
it's just
allowances have to be made.
I always make the reference of compare it to like a movie, right? Like that has a star of the show. This has an ensemble cast.
Sure.
So
that's a good. I don't know what the word is.
Analogy.
Analogy.
Yeah.
That is the word. That and 105.
Well,
I mean, you are firing on all cylinders.
I did everything but science. So, Mitchell, thank you so much for a couple minutes today. I appreciate you coming in. Y'all go see him off of Jefferson Highway for the Cheesecake Lab. Have a great weekend. Go Tigers, go Jags. We'll see you Monday.